Football fans all have stadiums we love, but do any of us have a pitch that we love? It might sound like an odd question, but pitches can be different sizes with big consequences. Why is that? And what are the actual rules? Back when association football started, pitches could be up to 100 metres wide and 200 metres long. That's longer than Ellen Road, not the pitch, the stadium. Anyway, UEFA wanted a standard across Europe for international matches, which became 105 metres long and 68 metres wide. But some clubs have been rebels, not intentionally, but because of the stadiums. Take Highbury, for example. It was 5 metres shorter and a metre narrower, meaning away sides had a challenge to adjust. White Hart Lane was exactly the same. And actually, when Spurs temporarily moved to Wembley, they asked the FA to shorten the pitch. The FA, very offended by the sacrilegious suggestion, said no, which in fairness could have actually benefited Tottenham because when they moved into their shiny new stadium, the pitch was exactly the same size as Wembley's. Today, Forest Pitch at the City Ground is a big un. It's 2 metres wider than any other pitch in the Premier League. But the smallest of all, Craven Cottage, just 100 metres long and 65 wide. No excuse for not tracking your man. There are a couple of crazy outliers in Europe too. At Napoli's home ground, the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona, the pitch is a whopping 110 metres long. At least they don't play on a slope like Newcastle do. There's a 2-metre incline on the pitch at St James's Park. And don't get me started on the old pitch at Yeovil too. It used to be a slant of 2 metres corner to corner and across the halfway line. So UEFA have their standards, so do the FA, but they do give pitches in England some wiggle room. Pitches can be anywhere between 90 and 120 metres long and between 45 and 90 metres wide. I mean, the rules state you can't have a square pitch, but in theory you could have one that's 91 metres long and 90 wide. Imagine rocking up to play a Sunday League game and the pitch is basically a square. So there are rules and regulations on sizes, with a UEFA standard that roughly everyone follows, but as we all know, size doesn't matter, does it?
Good morning, very nearly 4 minutes past 6 o'clock, Tuesday, May the 19th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling. Dean Saunders is with us this morning.
Morning everyone,
Dino.
morning Jeff.
And of course we're with Arnold Clark. Buy a used car, get a free 2-year service plan plus an extra £500 when you part exchange. Shop the upgrade event today. I see the highlights of the Arsenal-Burnley game are on Sky Sports News at the moment. Oh, they've finished. Well, there we are. That was, it was terrible, wasn't it? Anyway, how are you, mate?
Good, yeah, good. I come out the hotel this morning, looked at the weather forecast last night, thinking it's going to get hot. I come out this morning, drizzling again.
Yeah, no, I think
I had to walk as well in the rain.
Yeah,
all the way around here. So
all the way around. If you don't know where we are, what is it? 30 yards from the hotel
door. No, you
door.
are. I've been put in the.
Oh, you're somewhere smarter, are you?
Yeah, I'm in the. Bed and breakfast round the corner.
The bed and breakfast. I don't think you are. I know just where you are.
You?
And it's a lot smarter than where we stay.
Well, It's nice, actually. Nice
Yeah,
inside, but
yeah.
it's just a bit dangerous at 5 o'clock in the morning walking the streets.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to have a word with the
I was
management
looking over my
here.
shoulder. What, you want to be in that one? I'd rather be in this one.
Yeah, no.
Or you can just walk across the road.
Yeah, and in fairness, the guys in the hotel, the people who run the hotel, are absolutely
lovely.
fantastic. They really are.
How are you, Jeff? Got a new manager, your club?
Yeah, Lee Clark. We're going to talk to him a bit later on this morning, because he's ex-Newcastle, ex-Sunderland as well. So we'll talk to him a bit about North East football. But all the talk is about managers this morning, isn't it? With Pep expected to leave. Well, he is leaving. We know he's leaving. After 10 trophy-filled years as a manager, a bit of controversy surrounding it all as well. The news broke last night. Enzo Maresca set to replace him. I mean, I guess the question is, Dean, he's got a year left on his contract. Why now?
Yeah, and well, before we go on to that, I have to say, he's 20 trophies he's got, hasn't he? Somewhere.
Well,
20.
if you count the Community Shields.
Yeah, count them as well. But I think it's amazing, after managing myself and looking at the players he's managed, how he's not fallen out with more of them. I don't know.
Yeah.
How you keep all them egos happy. It's a different skill than managing. Like, obviously, at the other end of the table, you're trying to keep the team hard to beat, keep the team in the league. But when you're driving for the title, for excellence every week, he's still got on the side of the pitch, he's still got the fire in his belly. So I didn't think he'd leave, really. I thought he was going to carry on.
Yeah, it seems to me it's one of the few clubs these days where the manager is a manager. You know, he's not a head coach, is he? He's a manager, you know, and what Pep wants seems to be is what Pep gets. And you can't say that about many clubs now.
Well, you can say it about Arteta at Arsenal and Unai Emery, probably. And if you look, the most successful teams, probably the manager is in control of who comes in the door. Because when you're on the training ground and you've left the left winger out who's got 100 caps for his country and he's sulking, and you decide, right, I'm gonna get him out of the club.
Yeah,
he's killing. The sporting director doesn't know that. The people who sign in these players, Pep decides what characters come into his dressing room so they don't upset the apple cart. And Unai Emery's the same. You know, when you look at Harvey Elliott at Villa, he's obviously not signed him. He's obviously not signed Harvey Elliott. I think someone else has signed him. He's not picked him. He's picked him 9 times, and he one more, and they got to pay a fee for him or whatever.
Yeah.
But, I think he's in charge, and Jurgen Klopp was in charge of Liverpool. That's another story. But, you know, it was a good win from last night. They need one more win or Man City to slip up at Bournemouth, and that's not easy.
Yeah, no, I mean, Bournemouth, obviously they go there tonight to do Manchester City. They have to win. Nothing else is good enough. Otherwise, Arsenal have won the title. Pep's 6 league titles, including 4 in a row, we'll discuss, no doubt, later, just where he stands in the sort of pantheon of great managers, if you like. 115 charges, it has to be said, are still hanging over the club. And we'll discuss whether that affects his legacy as well. Look, talkSPORT reporter Ben Jacobs joined the sports bar last night. He explained why he thinks Pep is making the decision to leave.
Pep Guardiola, I think, has thought long and hard about this decision. There was the previous season, which was extremely difficult. Then there was the Club World Cup, where they had that shock exit to Al Hilal, and that was off the back of 2 aggressive windows where Pep Guardiola had a number of weapons and yet nothing quite clicked and they were defensively frail. Now they're hitting a little bit of momentum, but I think Guardiola's decision is essentially he's hit his 20, he still could win the Premier League, and because Enzo Maresca is available too, that will be a factor because they're friends, and Pep's very conscious about the legacy continuing beyond him. So this isn't just City wanting Enzo Maresca, this is Pep Guardiola endorsing Enzo Maresca, and as a free agent, I think that will have been a factor in him also deciding to step aside.
Well, if Ben's right, that's rather like Sir Alex Ferguson endorsing David Moyes, isn't it, at Manchester United?
Yeah.
And we all know how that worked.
Well, I think they ask your opinion, don't they? They respect Pep that much that they say, who do you think we should... And Pep's obviously gone, Maresca, obviously, because do you think they can have anyone in the world, can't they, to manage Man City?
Yeah.
And they've gone for Maresca. Well, is it official yet? Or
Well, it's not official yet. you know, look, he favours a sort of similar style as Pep, and that will appeal to him. He's been at the club before. You know, you can argue he won the World Club Championship with Chelsea. I might argue we mentioned 115 charges, but maybe another reason, and I'm a big Pep fan, but is there an argument this is a squad in decline? If you looked this year, they've got 77 points so far in what I think most people would say is a substandard Premier League season. Last year they got 71. The seasons before that they've got 91, 89 and 93.
Well, I think it's been difficult to replace the likes of Mahrez and De Bruyne, Gundogan. The players, just genius players. Kyle Walker at right back, who's still like lightning if you watch him play last night.
And he's going to lose silver and stones.
Yeah, so he's tried to replace them with players. They're obviously not, at the moment, they're not as good as the ones he had. They do look vulnerable at the back. Young O'Reilly's just a novice. He's great going forward. But can they, when they get to the latter stages of tournaments or crunch games against the big clubs, can they keep the ball out the net? I'm not so sure. The goalkeeper's decent, but also, can you remember him a couple of years ago saying that I've been told that the club's done nothing wrong by people at the club, and if they have done something wrong, that's another reason why he might decide to leave.
I mean, from the point of view, whoever follows him, you know, it's like, I mean, you never want to be the one who follows somebody who's been phenomenally successful. Let's say that Manchester City came to you today, Dino, ex-manager, and said, we want you to replace Pep Guardiola. Would you think twice about it?
Well, I don't think it's a broken car. I mean, like, Slot walked into an absolute Rolls Royce, didn't he?
Yeah.
Purring Rolls Royce. That's a job that doesn't happen very often. Normally, when you walk into a manager's job, there's a bit of chaos going on, and you've got to try and put it right. So at the moment, I think they're a really good team. They're not as good as they were, but they might end up in a couple of years. Semenyo develops. Cherky gets better and better. Haaland's lethal.
Will they all stay? Well, will Haaland begin? Will Haaland, you know, will it cross his mind to think, okay, the gaffer's gone. This could be a good time for me to move?
I'm sure he'd fancy playing in Spain or Italy one day.
Yeah, well, Lewandowski's announced this week that he's leaving.
Yeah, well, I hope he doesn't, because I like watching him play. Haaland, he's like a proper centre forward who can score all types of goals. But obviously the manager's left. But I still think players, they pretend they care about the manager, but they don't really. They don't really.
What they care about is if he's picking you or not.
Yes. Yeah. All the players like you if you pick them.
Yeah.
And if you don't pick them, I mean, the first time you ever put a team sheet out, Jeff, say you've never managed before, you write the first team sheet down as a manager. You've instantly got about 200 enemies. You've got the players, their wives, girlfriends, mums and dads, best mates. Why are you not picking my boy? You add them all up, there's about 200 enemies. Yeah. The ones who you pick love you.
You've got so many enemies.
You keep picking the same team every week, you're all right. Yeah. We've seen Salah. Salah's turned on Slot, hasn't he? We'll talk about that later, but there's an example of, a player. If you leave them out, they become different characters. I was probably the same.
Yeah. What do you think? What effect do you think this might have, if any, on City tonight? Go into a game at Bournemouth that they have to win. It's also Antonio Iraiola's last home game in charge of Bournemouth, by the way. What impact do you think it might have?
Well, there seems to be a I'm leaving epidemic in the Premier League. Have you noticed? I'm leaving. What benefit does it make to Man City, Pep announcing he's leaving right now with 2 games to go?
Yeah. I don't think he announced it. I mean, my first news was actually from Oliver Holt in the Daily Mail. I think he was the guy who broke the story.
Was he leaked it out?
Yeah, I think so. Well, he's a journalist. That's what they're paid to do, you know. So it was a great. If it is Ollie, it's a great coup for him to be the one.
I don't get why Salah said he announced he was leaving. That's not done very well for the club, is it? That announcement. Trippier obviously has got nothing left on his contract, so I can understand that one. But there's a bit of an epidemic. Managers, Glasner, the Bournemouth manager, he said he's leaving as well.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah. A lot of them are on their way out. It's going to be a summer of change, isn't it? That is for sure. Look, coming up, we'll just dive into Maresca's suitability for the City job, and whether someone like Ryan Cherky might struggle in his system.
As we alluded to yesterday, Southampton are likely to face a sporting sanction if they're found guilty of spying charges. As a result, they could end up being thrown out of the playoff final to be replaced in that final by Middlesbrough instead, the team that they put out last night at the semi-final second leg stage. We said we'd look into this more thoroughly from a financial, legal expert point of view, and the very man who fits that bill is sitting to my right. Stefan Borson joins us live in studio. And Stefan, good morning to you.
Hi.
We'll get into how this may or may not play out in the courts. Is there a precedent, Stefan, for chucking a team out of the playoffs?
Well, it happened to Swindon, but it was different. Well, not in terms of the playoffs, but in terms of sort of annulling the promotion. But it was a different situation. I mean, there's no situation where you've had it all come to a head within this small window around the playoffs. In terms of spying / espionage, there's really very few cases anywhere in football in respect of this. So you've got the Leeds situation that we know about,
Yep.
where it was systematic. They ended up with a £200,000 fine. And effectively, the other part of the sanction was to vote in favour of the rule that then came in. This rule that we're now talking about in terms of the 72-hour rule. That was part of the agreement on that. So that brought the rule in. The only other case is actually from the from the Olympics with Canada's women's team, and FIFA in 2024 docked them 6 points.
Not wig.
It's a nutty canister, either way. I mean, look at the nut on it.
Bob Odenkirk! Saul was great. He was just a breath of fresh air. Amelia Clark! Star Wars versus Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, definitely.
Go.
I'm loyal.
Don't tell me. Alex Hassel!
In season 2, a lot of us get our clothes off.
You do know you did that in season 1?
Exactly, that's true, yes.
Cause the writings on the wall, a million shards of glass
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling and Dean Saunders. What you just heard was the theme tune to Spectre, James Bond movie, of course. Writings on the Wall by Sam Smith, and the reason we're playing it is Sam is 34 today. Dino, are you a big Sam Smith fan?
Great voice, isn't he?
Oh, what a voice.
I'm not sure about his outfits. But
You wouldn't wear them, would you? You wouldn't.
Not unless it was fancy dress. Jeff, do you know what, right? I don't know why we brought this subject up. Happy birthday to Sam.
Yeah.
But
who is a wonderful singer,
yeah,
by the way.
But
and
because you can't
great
say anything anymore without offending someone, I'm not saying any more about it.
Dino.
Happy birthday, Sam.
Happy birthday, Sam. Dino,
Why don't we just leave it there?
I'm sitting opposite you. You don't need to say a word because it's written all over your face. But look, Stay With Me, not the only
brilliant.
one. I mean, Sam's got a brilliant voice. Okay, time for a quick coffee break and look at the back pages with Costa Express.
The Costa Coffee Break on talkSPORT, sponsored by Costa Express. Quality coffee, quality day.
And Olivia Bazzaglio is with us.
Morning.
Olivia.
How are we both?
Yeah,
Good. We just got over a massive, like an entry fence.
Yeah.
The chair. Me and Jeff had just got over it.
Oh, okay.
Because Sim's just thrown Sam Smith in there.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but the problem.
I was stood in there going, oh, don't envy you trying to get around that.
The problem is you jump the chair and then you fall at the next meter. That's always a worry.
Yeah, see if you can get over the fence, Olivia. What do you think of Sam Smith? Get over
Great artist.
There we go.
Well,
over the fence.
Thank you.
Over the fence.
Over the fence, just about. I had to really think about that though.
Yeah.
I was then about to fall, actually, Jeff, with what I was about to say next. Anyway, let's have a look at the back pages. On the back page of the Star, Man Splitty, after 10 magical years and 20 trophies, Pep waves farewell to City this weekend. On the back page of the Mail, farewell Pep. And on the back page of the Sun, gonna win it. And gonna go. Pep quitting City with Pal Maresca set to take over. Okay, let's angle this. Obviously, you've been speaking about Pep Guardiola, but let's angle it on the Maresca line. I felt like this was a worse kept secret than Pep Guardiola potentially leaving. He's been spending time in the Maldives since leaving Chelsea, and now he's coming back to rainy Manchester. Why would he do that, do you know?
Well, he won't be coming back quite yet, will he? It might be in July. July, yeah. Well, to manage Man City, it's probably there's probably about 5 top jobs in the world, and Man City's definitely one of them.
Yeah.
We were in the break there. I was just talking with Jeff. If you were to join Man City now, the first question you ask is, how much money are you going to give me? Because I'm going to buy half of PSG's team. If I was managing.
Yeah, that's what I would do as well.
You would, wouldn't you?
That's what I would do as well. Do you think this is the right fit for Manchester City post Pep Guardiola, Jeff?
I've got no idea. I mean, on the basis that Enzo Maresca's management is limited.
Yeah.
You know, Man City, one of the most successful clubs in the world. Somebody said, by the way, we've been churlish about Pep. No, we haven't. I'd already said, 20 trophies, 6 league titles, including 4 in a row, Champions League win in 2023. So it's not being churlish. He's been brilliant for the Premier League. Manchester City want to continue dining at the top table. Why haven't they gone for the very best in the world? When people speculate, why haven't they gone for a Luis Enrique? You talked about PSG. Probably one of the few clubs in the world that might be able to lure him away. A Manchester City. And money is no object. We know that. So I don't quite get it. But on the other hand, I can't help but continually look back that nobody wanted to follow Sir Alex Ferguson at Manchester United. You getting the job. I mean, poor old Devon Moyes got the job there. Brilliant manager, but every single move that he made was compared with Sir Alex, and every single move that Enzo Maresca makes will be compared with Pep Guardiola.
I think there's certain types of managers that, for example, Sir Alex Ferguson, he knew how to win a game. He knew how to take a game to the opposition. He knew what was wrong. He knew what his subs could do. And he would change the game every time they were coming up against a low block every week. Pep's the same. Teams are trying to stop Man City every week. And you've got to be a certain type of manager that knows how to get round the low block. You either go round people, over the top of them. Then you've got managers at the other end of the table who are good at making you hard to beat. That's a different job. But there's only a few managers that can actually turn it on every week.
And I, speaking from experience, having watched Enzo Maresca's Chelsea week in, week out, to know that was one of the biggest struggles that Chelsea had under Enzo Maresca, was breaking down a low block. And actually in the bigger games where it was more open and teams, came onto us, that's when Enzo Maresca thrived in the big game. So it's going to be really interesting to see. Would you say that Pep Guardiola has left Manchester City in a really good place for Enzo Maresca to go into, with the new signings that they brought in Guehi, Semenyo, Kushanov, even with the departures of Bernardo Silva and John Stones? How do you look at it in terms of the team he's going into?
Again, he might be looking at it a bit like Jurgen Klopp did at Liverpool and thought, now's the time to leave. I've seen the best of this team, and to replace the players I've had, which is very difficult, Gundogan, De Bruyne, it's very difficult.
Julian Alvarez.
Well,
going to lose Silva, going to lose Stones,
like Jesus,
Riyad Mahrez.
Yeah, they like, to replace him. It's hard to find. So he's maybe thought enough's enough, or he's just tired, wants to go maybe in the sun somewhere, manage maybe in the sun. But or is there an issue with the charges against the club, and he thought now's the time to leave? But it's been leaked out, hasn't it?
It's really sad, actually, that Manchester City haven't been the ones able to announce that Pep Guardiola is leaving after 10 years. When you look at it, you just think, how has that happened? How has someone told a journalist that that's...
A word always gets out.
Yeah.
It always gets out. I mean, it's a shame for the Premier League, I think. I mean, look, Arsenal are celebrating this morning because they've won. They've beaten Burnley last night. The rest of the Premier League is celebrating this morning because Pep Guardiola's not going to be in charge of Man City next season. But from an outsider's point of view, we've lost Jurgen Klopp to the Premier League. Now we've lost Pep Guardiola to the Premier League. Two juggernauts of football. And I think the Premier League will be a poorer place without them.
Don't worry, Jeff. We've got Xabi Alonso coming in. I'm joking.
That makes you think that Liverpool are not going to sack Slot. They could have had Alonso.
Yeah, I don't think they will. But we don't have those names in the Premier League. Like, when you think of, Jeff, those names, and Jurgen Klopp and now Pep Guardiola, it's actually really weird to think about a Premier League without Pep Guardiola, but we just don't have those big names in the Premier League anymore, do we?
I think Pep will be remembered for the way the team played, and how they just kept the ball off the opposition and just cut through them with lethal, like knife through butter. And Klopp will be remembered for his up and at you football where you couldn't breathe. The two different styles, but both brilliant.
Yeah. So who was the best then? Guardiola, Ferguson, Shankly, Paisley, Clough, Ancelotti? 03717 223344. Let us know what you think. Thanks, Olivia. And that was thanks to our friends at Costa Express. Find out next what Kara's had to say about Mo Salah's latest outburst.
The Costa Coffee Break on talkSPORT. Sponsored by Costa Express. Quality coffee, quality day.
How much credit does Bruno Fernandes deserve? You're not a fan of this assist thing, are you? Now that he's equal Thierry Henry's record.
Well, no, I mean, Thierry got 20 assists and 24 goals.
We're just talking about assists.
No, but altogether, my thing with this, right, is fair play to him. He's equal to a very good record, and I've got no issue with that whatsoever. I'd like to see a little bit more emphasis on goals rather than a few goals and a whole load of assists.
I mean, not his job to score goals, but I hear you.
De Bruyne's got the same record, and 13 goals.
Yeah, he's got 8.
So there's
we might score 6.
Numbers work, right?
Using my lines, you've learned very well. High five there, yeah, good work, man.
But no, yeah, listen, what he's done in a bad Manchester United period is phenomenal. Certainly this season with the assists, and it was funny because watching the game, there's so many times he got a shot and he opted to pass it because he's obviously desperate for his record.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I get it, but I can't remember when all of a sudden goals and assists became a thing. Certainly when I was playing in the Premier League, it was all about, if you're a striker, goals. And then if you're a creative midfield player, how many assists he got. All of a sudden now, and I think some players are getting away with it, with this goals and assists, because ultimately the name of the game is still to put the ball in the back of the net. But you're seeing some guys, they've got 17 goals and assists and they're forward. You go, well, how many goals they got? Well, they got, 4 goals and 13 assists. You're like, well, that's not any good.
Terrible, yeah.
That's terrible. Because they're putting our goals and assists together.
You're all right.
It's almost overshadowing everything.
Do you care about any stats? Like, you're a fan of XG. There's another one called XA.
Yeah.
Do you know what XA is?
Assists. Expected assists.
It's expected assist. Now, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know. I know about XG, but listen, I like XG, but I don't.
You can't explain it.
The only stats that I really
care about
goals. I think assists to a certain level.
Clean sheets.
Yeah, I love touches in opposition box because I think that tells you a lot about how a team's attacking. Because if and I always like to compare the XG with touches inside the opposition box.
Always, you always have to do that.
Yeah, because if you're a team in certain games, you're getting 40 touches in the opposition box and there's no goals. What's going on?
Every spring, sports fans in Europe come together to celebrate arguably rugby's biggest annual tournament, the Six Nations. But why is it the home nations, plus France and Italy, and no one else? It all started back in 1871 when Scotland beat England in the very first international rugby match. A few years later, when they could field a team, Wales decided they'd host England and an idea was thought up. With Ireland keen, they formed the Home International Championship, which ran from 1883. In 1910, France was allowed to join, as they were developing into a serious rugby nation, and thus the Five Nations was born. France had an interesting history with the championship. They were actually booted out for paying their players in 1931, when the home nations were keen to keep it amateur. After World War II, though, France were let back in, but it remained a closed shop for more than 50 years. And when another country was let in, it was only really because the Five Nations hand had been forced. Italy was developing into a serious contender, beating Scotland, France and Ireland twice in the same year, meaning in 1999 officials got together and said yes to Italy and it became the Six Nations. So what changes, if any, come next? 7 nations? 8? A promotion and relegation system? Or should we leave it alone and let it remain the great rugby tradition it's become?
Get ready to get the ultimate football fan winning feeling with talkSPORT Win.
Yeah, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Dean Saunders, and Arnold Clark. Is the perfect time to upgrade your car. Get 2 years free servicing when you buy a used car in the upgrade event. Check it out online. Dino, you know those furniture stores have a sale every single day of the year?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're like that. We've got a quiz, a competition every day of the year. And this is a good one, by the way. With the 2016 FIFA World Cup almost here, thanks to Adidas, the tournament's official matchball supplier, talkSPORT is sending you and a friend to Dallas in Texas. It's a fantastic prize. You could be at England's first game against Croatia, June 17th, with return flights, accommodation, spending money, tickets, and the official Adidas matchball, the Trionda, all thrown in. All thrown in, get that? So, ready to get that winning feeling. This is how to enter. For your chance to win, head to talksportwin.com or text WIN, that's just WIN, to 83338. Text and online entries are £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or you can call 0343 418 7260. Entries must be in by the 1st of June at 4 in the afternoon. 1st of June is the deadline, 4 in the afternoon. That's when you have to answer your phone if it rings. 18 plus, UK residents only. This is a talkSPORT promotion. Full T's and C's at talksportwin.com. So for your chance to win, text WIN, W-I-N, to 83338 right now. Hi, Jeff. Wayne from Stoke. He says, no mention of Havertz's horrible foul last night. I'd argue a VAR conspiracy is a bigger story than Pep could have hurt the lad really badly. Defo red. Wayne, I agree, it should have been a red card.
What about his header, Jeff?
Yeah, but Dino, it's not, I just want to say, it's not conspiracy.
No.
It's just ineptness. Just ineptness. The referees, VAR, they can't see the wood from the trees. They don't know what they're looking for anymore. They are as confused as we are, and I am confused with a capital C. It was a great header.
He was above the crossbar.
Oh, I mean,
when they slowed it down and paused it when he headed it, what a header. He got above, actually higher than the crossbar. But, no, I agree with what you're saying there. You look at Mbomo's handball and see the head of the referees, what's his name? He's come out.
Howard Webb.
Howard Webb's come out and sort of said, they made a mistake. But who knows what handball is? Why don't they just simplify the rule or simplify the law and stick to it? If the ball hits any part of your body and deflects onto your arm, it's not handball in both boxes.
Mm.
You can't. There's a grey area which you're going to say, well, he sort of trapped it, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
But it is hit first.
I thought it was 100% handball. I thought it was 100% handball. But that's an indication, I know we disagree with this, of the mess that we are in, because nobody knows what handball is or isn't. And I include Howard Webb in that, by the way,
I do.
as well. I don't think that he has a clear vision now. And our referees and VARs certainly don't have a clear vision of what is handball and what's
Well, add our years up in football, that we've been in football. How long you've been in, like 30, 40 years?
Yeah.
I've been...
Well, on the fringes. I'm not really in football, Dino.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've noticed that.
But you're studying it, Jeff. You're sort of a disciple, aren't you? Of
Something
football.
like that, yeah.
And between the three of us, we've all got a different opinion on it because the law is too complicated. What's his arm doing up there, someone says. What's that got to do with it? If the ball deflects onto your arm and you didn't know anything about it, then it's not handball. Just stick to it. And get all the refs in a room and say, that's the new law. If the ball deflects onto your arm, it doesn't matter even if it looks like he's trapped it. It's hit his hip first. It's not handball.
I mean, look, it's a complete shambles at the moment. I mean, it really is. Talking of, the number of years we've been in the game, what about Craig Gordon? 43 years of age. Will he be named in the Scotland squad today? Steve Clarke names his squad. It'll be on White and Jordan around midday. And that's one of the questions. He's been injured. He hasn't been playing, but he's back in training again now. Never lets you down. I think Craig Gordon at 43 will be going to the World Cup. And what an amazing, amazing effort that is on his behalf. Just a reminder about the big news this morning. Pep Guardiola is set to leave Man City after Sunday's final game of the season at home to Aston Villa. Enzo Maresca is set to take his place. Guardiola still has a year left on his contract, but City have been working on his leaving tributes, we're told, for several weeks. Well, they should go on for a while, shouldn't they, with what he has achieved. at that football club. Let's head to the phone lines and get some reaction, shall we? Alan is a Man City fan. Morning, Alan.
Morning, Alan.
Well, it's evening, it's afternoon here. I'm ringing from Melbourne. I'm from Manchester, but I'm ringing from Melbourne. How are you guys? Great show, by the way.
Oh, mate. Hey, Melbourne, absolutely love it. What's it like over there at the moment?
Well, the winter's just starting to come, so it's going cooler, but it's still about 18 degrees, and and I feel it now. So I've got the heater on for the first time this year.
Oh, it's raining here, so that'll cheer you up.
Yeah. Look,
no problem, mate. No problem.
Alan, what do you make of Pep leaving City?
Well, it's not official yet because it's not come from the club and it's not come from Pep yet. That's what I'm going to say. I'm shocked, but I'm not surprised. I'm more shocked to the way it was delivered. If it's come from the press and the mail, from what I can gather, and I've seen everyone panicking and coming out on the internet and all the fan channels and etc. coming out, and obviously the media. But I'm pretty surprised it's come out the way it has, and disappointed, because from what I can gather, it was supposed to be coming out on Sunday, if it was coming out, from the Sunday, because I watched a BBC interview with him, with this girl, where a girl reporter asked him the question, are you going to be here next year? And he went, yes. And then she said, what, here next year? And she went, yeah, I've got a contract. And then he started laughing, and people started laughing. So unless Pep's lied, I'm still waiting for an official, respectful way of saying goodbye. Now, I understand that Pep, in his personal life, has not been happy in the last 12 months. And that's unfortunate, because I think we all know the reasons what's happened there. And if that is the reason why he wants to go and rectify him splitting from his wife, then I fully back him and understand what he's trying to do. I've sympathised with anyone doing that sort of thing. So,
Alan, he's been at City. He's been at City a long, long time. I mean, there's nothing more for him to achieve, is there?
Mate,
really?
Listen, he's an absolute legend. Yeah. I'm on a fan channel on the Mancunian way on a regular basis, and he has given every single Man City fan, including me, because I was going in the 70s, including me, given us every single dream we thought we would want. He's delivered on everything.
Alan,
if someone had said to us we won 20 trophies and in 10 years, unbelievable. We've been the best team in the world, best team in Europe. We've won the treble, the quadruple. We've done everything, mate.
Alan, thank you very much for the call. Enjoy Melbourne.
Yeah. Thanks, Alan.
Let's have a quick word with Ryan, who is an Arsenal fan, so he might have a different perspective about all of this. What do you think, Ryan?
Morning, Ryan.
Good morning, lads.
Morning, mate.
Good show as usual.
So, look, does Pep leaving Manchester City means that Arsenal's years of domination now lie ahead?
Well, I don't know about that. I think that the league's going to open up more, for definite. But my shout for the greatest Premier League manager, believe it or not, is Alex Ferguson. Even as an Arsenal fan, nobody can say what he didn't do in the Premier League. That was pure greatness in a time when the Premier League was a lot tougher, in my opinion. But second place, close second to him, was Arsene Wenger. Nobody ever mentions Wenger. I know Pep's done this and that, but he's also done it with the 115 charges. You've got Jose Mourinho, you've got all these other managers, and people just keep going on about Pep Guardiola as the greatest. Is he the greatest?
Well, that's obviously right, because he's won 20 trophies. He won 6 league titles at Manchester City, including 4 in a row, which Arsene Wenger didn't manage with the best will in the world. He won the Champions League in 2023 as well. So his record is there for everyone to see. And the charges, you know what? They are just charges at the moment. That's all.
And it's the way he's done it.
But the charges are there. We don't know what they are, but they're there. Whereas Arsene Wenger went invincible. Pep didn't do that with all of his money and all of his teams.
No. Oh, look, Wenger was a brilliant manager, and he also reshaped the face of football in the Premier League, which Pep has done as well. Great call, Ryan. Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, thank you, lads.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Do you know what? As well, Jeff, you've got to take in the laws of the game, which have changed. For me, the only thing that's changed in football, same size pitch, same size goals, 11v11, the laws have changed compared to 10 years ago, where you're allowed to tackle, you're allowed to intimidate. Imagine Vinnie Jones playing now. Stuart Pearce.
No, it's impossible.
That intimidation thing where you could actually stop people playing by actually kicking them all around the pitch. Those days are gone.
Yeah. James, who's an LFC fan, says, morning, love the show. It's why Jurgen Klopp announced his departure earlier in the year when he left. Pep deserves a hero send-off, one of the best managers of our time. For it to be ruined by a newspaper is really disappointing. James, get your point, but, that's down to Manchester City. Oliver Holt's doing his job as a good journalist. He's got this story. He's going to break it. City should have preempted it.
Well, just think about this, Jeff.
To avoid this.
They're planning his, you just said there, they've been planning his departure for a while. So the minute you ring someone and say, can we have some balloons, please, for Peps? I'm making an example. Or can we ring a venue to say we're going to have a dinner for Pep? You know what I mean? And the minute you ring someone, it's going to get out, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you think that's what he's leaving to? Is going to
balloons.
Be balloons.
Blue and white balloons everywhere.
Thanks, Dino. Here's what's to come on breakfast this morning, then.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Manage your Travis Perkins trade account online at travisperkins.co.uk or via the Travis Perkins app.
City fans, we want to hear from more of you. Plenty already waiting to have the say. Does Pep go down as the Premier League's greatest ever manager? Jed from Liverpool's just said, morning, lads. 30 bob a session to spend, one sub to use every week, playing up potato fields every week, attractive, aggressive football every week. The greatest manager ever was Bob Paisley. No contest. Move on. Thanks very much indeed, Jed. If you've got a view, 03717 223344 is the number to call. And that was our breakfast preview with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Get free next day track delivery. Head to travisperkins.co.uk or download the app.
Morning, Sir Rod.
Morning, Ray. Morning, Jeff. How are you guys?
Yeah, really good, thanks, mate. But probably not as good as you. What was the feeling then? Was it joy? Was it relief? What was it?
It was joy. It was mixed emotions right now because I'm just really let down by some of our supporters, coming on a pitch and starting fights and all that. It's just took the gloss off the whole day. And my heart goes out to the Jambos. It's just awful what's happened to them. But, we won 9 games on the trot and we're the champions.
Yes. Rod, I've got to say, you've never had so many English people down here looking at the Premier League and looking at the north of the border saying, what a running it has been. And I'm sure that you've had so much spotlight on the Premiership now, the Scottish Premiership, because of Hearts. Because it's usually Rangers or Celtic run away with it.
Yeah,
and it's made it so much better league, isn't it, by having someone else involved?
Yeah. Good luck to Hearts next year. They've got money to spend, apparently, and I'd like to see them up there again. Because of that simple reason, it does make it a competition. It really does. But there's one thing I have to say. Both Rangers and Celtic, because of Russell Martin and this guy Nazi who took over, they dropped so many points. I think if those two hadn't have come along, it may have been a different story. No disrespect to Hearts, but we'll see next year.
Rod, Martin O'Neill, obviously, a legend.
Martin O'Neill!
Done a brilliant job. He says he feels rejuvenated. Would you like to see him? I think I know the answer to this. Would you like to see him stay on?
Yeah, of course I would. It entirely is up to him. If he's healthy enough to do it, and I'm 81, I'm still doing what I'm doing, I'm sure he could do it. The fans and most of all the players adore him.
not wig.
It's a nutty canister, either way. I mean, look at the nut on it.
Bob Odenkirk! Saul was great. He was just a breath of fresh air. Amelia Clark! Star Wars versus Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, definitely.
I'm
loyal.
Don't tell Alex Hassel!
In season 2, a lot of us get our clothes off.
You do know you did that in season 1.
Exactly, that's true, yes.
Good morning to you. It is 6:51, Tuesday, May the 19th, the day we woke to the story that Pep Guardiola is set to leave Manchester City.
Sad day for football, isn't it, in this country?
Well, in some respects, yeah, but if we're a supporter, look, Billy is a United supporter, for example. He says, morning, guys. Pep leaving is the best news that I've woken up to for a long time. Been doing my head in since his Barcelona days. So there are two ways of looking at it, aren't there?
Why is he doing his head in then? Because
he was,
because
he's been brilliant. Yeah. Because he's been brilliant.
It's like Steve Davis.
Let's take another quick call, shall we? On that news that Pep's going to step down. Jay is a Nottingham Forest fan. Morning, Jay.
Morning, Jay.
Morning, guys. Morning, guys. How you doing? You all right? Yeah,
very good. Good, thanks, Jay. So, what do you think? Are you going to miss Pep in the Premier League, or are you glad that he's going?
Listen, he is a phenomenal manager, 100%, an absolute legend to Man City. And what the guy's done in the game is amazing. But I just cannot, I can't see how you can put him up there with as the greatest in the Premier League era when I put it like this, right? If you take him from his early days when he was at Barcelona, that team that he inherited, he came from the B team or whatever as a coach, then worked his way up. That team, you could have put anyone in there. Anyone in that team, them players knew each other inside out. So that team, they were phenomenal players, right? Then he left there, went to Bayern Munich, had millions to spend, and again he had all. And don't get me wrong, he's got to be an outstanding man manager to work with these players at such high caliber, yeah. But he's had millions to spend, right? Then he's gone to Manchester City. Again, he's brilliant, in the man management to manage these awesome players. But he's like last season, everyone was like, he's got to sort out midfield, right? Take away the 115 charges. He's then spending like 50 million. How much money has a man spent on players, right?
Well, I'll sum it up for you, right? He's had the biggest budget in Spain. He had the biggest budget in Germany. And he's had the biggest budget in England. Could he manage Burnley and keep them up?
Could he?
Well, that's the argument, isn't it?
Dino?
Well, it's a different job. It's a totally different job. But he's got it's like driving a Formula One car. Only certain drivers can drive them. And he's like that with the best players. He can manage the best players.
Jay, thank you very much indeed for the call. You're saying he's a checkbook manager then?
Well, he's never had. I'd like to see him managing Burnley and see how you get with no money.
It's not going to happen, mate.
No, I know, but
take my word for it.
That's the argument, isn't it?
Yeah.
And could Sean Dyche manage Man City? That's another argument.
Okay, you'll all have your own views. I know Matt says, I'm happy to see Pep leave. The style of football in the Premier League has become so boring. Well, that's up to the others, isn't it, to find a way to beat Manchester City, which, of course, Arsenal look like they're going to do this season. Right now, it's time for a bit of this. And Olivia's back with us.
Yeah,
Olivia?
hello.
You been on a sunbed?
No, don't look
You look
tan.
tanned up,
Do
yeah.
I? I went to Seville. not so long ago. Lovely weather there.
Bit brown.
Bit of a tan. I'm
You
afraid.
have, yeah.
Bit of makeup as well, do you know? Anyway, right, we're playing that music because big news. I think it's big news. João Pedro was not included in the Brazil squad for the 2026 World Cup. Off the back of what has been a pretty good first season for Chelsea. 15 goals in the Premier League, 20 goals in all competitions. Only 3 players have actually scored more goals than him in the Premier League this season, and he's carried that Chelsea attack on his back because everyone else hasn't really turned up. We're going to play a little game of João Pedro or, and we're going to go through the Brazil attackers.
I just say João Pedro's never scored a goal for Brazil. Why are you shocked?
I'm shocked because of the other players that have been called up, Jeff.
Well, like Vinicius Junior.
Like Endrick.
Thiago.
Like Endrick.
No. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's play the game anyway, shall we? Okay, so the first player is Igor Thiago. Absolutely brilliant season for Brentford. 22 goals in the Premier League. Would you be picking him or João Pedro, Dino?
It's
got to be a little...
Pedro.
Pedro?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeff?
Well, I'm obviously going to go for Thiago because he's been sensational.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Mateus Cunha. Obviously, Manchester United haven't been in any competitions apart from the Premier League. He scored 10 goals. Who are you taking, João Pedro or Mateus Cunha?
Look, I just want to preface this by saying I really like João Pedro. He's been brilliant for Chelsea. But Mateus Cunha, I would take every day of the week.
I would as well.
Who do?
Yeah.
Okay, Neymar. First call-up since 2023. He's played 600 minutes of league football this season and he's missed 112 days through injury. He has been called up to the Brazil squad.
But he's a legend. He's going because he's a legend.
I'm just asking, based off of this season, Jeff, who would you take? Him
It's
or
not based off this season. You can't say based off this season because that's
He hasn't been called up for 3
That's
years.
not how things work, based off this season.
I don't get how you can argue that Neymar should be called up ahead of João Pedro.
I'm not arguing that he should be. I'm just saying it's not based off this season in the same way that when England squads are named, Jordan Henderson's been in. That's not based off this season.
Okay, Endrick.
I've got no idea.
Okay, well, he's been on loan at Lyon because it didn't work out at Real Madrid. Scored, I think, 8 goals. 5 of them came in League One.
I think you're seeing this very much through blue and white
Not Jeff.
eyes.
I don't understand.
You really are.
I don't understand. I think João Pedro has had an absolutely brilliant first season for Chelsea.
He's had a great season, but it's not all about Chelsea and it's not all about the Premier League. And by the way, the bloke who's picking this is Carlo Blooming Ancelotti.
No, listen, I know.
One of the greatest managers in the history of football. And I'm happy to stick with his view, Livia. I'm sorry, with all due respect, rather than yours.
I don't... listen, there's a reason why Carlo Ancelotti is the Brazil manager. But when you look at the players... So Luis Enrique's also been called up. A Zenit winger, he scored 1 goal. Nice. So what are we basing this off? His last season, the season before that? Because João Pedro has...
I don't know. I don't see Zenit.
Okay, Gabriel Martinelli. João Pedro's had a far better season than Gabriel
They're different players. They're different players.
They're attacking players that you only need to take one player.
Martinelli's a wide player and João Pedro is not.
So you've got to take one player. You're telling me you wouldn't take one player out of those I've just named to have João Pedro in that Brazil squad? Not one. One single player.
When you're managing, you're trying to piece together a jigsaw. It might be someone's character. You take, look at Trent. Why is Trent not in the England squad? So it's also the manager's ingredients he puts in.
We have not seen him play for Brazil, okay? We've not seen him play for Brazil. All I'm saying, we don't know what his mentality is like. We don't know what his performances be. He's played 8 times for them. He has not scored a goal for them. And that is going to inevitably go against him.
Has Igor Thiago played for Brazil?
Yeah.
And has he scored?
I don't know.
I don't think he has. So that argument...
On your basis, you came in and said, oh, but João Pedro scored this many goals in the Premier League.
No,
Igor Thiago has scored more.
And I'm not saying Igor Thiago should be the player that comes out for him because I think Igor Thiago deserves a call-up to the Brazil squad based off of the season he's had. I also believe that when you look at those players... In that Brazil squad, I personally believe if you cannot take one player out to put in João Pedro, I think that's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous.
You go and tell Carlo Ancelotti, one of the greatest managers in history.
Must be current form, Current form, Chelsea. Because have they won 1 in 7?
Yeah, but in fairness, Pedro's been he's been their best player this season, hasn't he?
Well, he is a good player. Some of the players you've named there, is he world class, Pedro? Is Thiago world class?
No, none of them are. None of those players we've read there are world class. None of them are.
Yeah.
Neymar's not anymore.
No, and I'll tell you what, when you look at Brazil, and you think, even with Ancelotti in charge, you think, crikey, how are they going to do that? Because, they've got an ageing midfield as well, and a lack of pace in that. Their forward players, the Vinicius Juniors of this world, are definitely where their strength lies, because elsewhere they look incredibly vulnerable.
Well, Rodrigo and Esteval obviously are missing as well, and they're probably 2 starting wingers. I know Ancelotti likes to play sort of a weird sort of 4 across the middle. We likes to play with more than 2 wingers. But those two obviously are out injured. So, but I look at those. Obviously, Rafinha's had a brilliant season for Barcelona. Rayan's had a really impressive first season for Bournemouth in the Premier League as a teenager. So yeah, I'm to be honest, I actually think it's better news for the teams that are playing against Brazil.
I just think you're trying to compare, not like with like that. João Pedro is a different player, for instance, to Rayan. He's not a wide player. It's
Neymar and Endrick are the two I'm looking at, really. But if you want to say Neymar deserves to be called up because he's
I'm not saying that.
Superstar, I don't know if he's a superstar.
He's a legend. I don't know what Ancelotti's reasons are, but he is I'm just saying 2 facts. One is Neymar, like it or not, is a legend, and like it or not, João Pedro's never scored a goal for Brazil.
And sometimes, I was assistant manager of Wales with John Toshak, and he would say to me, "We've got to have soldiers, He'd say, "We've got to have soldiers with us when we turn up." What he means by that is the first team have got to play against someone in training. So you've got to pay players who know they're not playing, but they're not going to cause trouble.
And I don't know,
I think he's one of those players.
I don't know whether people in Brazil view Neymar as being such a legend that it's essential for Ancelotti to keep him on side by having him in the squad.
I mean, maybe, yeah. You would think that, the way that Brazil fans do think of Neymar. He's their highest ever goal scorer. He's like a god in their eyes.
Exactly.
But I'm still standing on my point, Jeff, that João Pedro deserves to be in the Brazil squad for the World Cup.
You're a Chelsea fan, aren't you?
Yeah.
I just said to Jeff, Callum, no disrespect to him.
Yeah.
How can you give the job to Callum and not John Terry or Hasselbank?
We've got to talk about that another time because we're already overrunning in terms of the news. Olivia, thank you very much. That was lively. Up next, the very latest of Pep Guardiola's expected departure from Man City. James Corden is with us in the studio.
Good morning.
Good morning, mate.
Good morning, James.
So happy to be here.
It's our pleasure. How are you?
I'm really well. Yeah, I'm very good.
Thank you for coming in.
It's a pleasure.
It's lovely. We've got so much to talk to you about.
For sure.
Before we talk about football, right?
Yes.
I was just going over old stuff that you've done, right?
Mm.
And I was watching with my producer Ollie this morning when you did the Sports Personality of the Year. I think it was 09, 07, I can't remember. It was nearly 20 years ago. And you stood up in front of everyone, right?
Yes.
And you gave, as Smithy, you gave this massive speech.
Smithy won Coach of the Year.
And I said to producer, he's got a good memory, right? How nerve-wracking must that have been for you? Was that just insane? Did you have autocue now? Or was that...
Well, yeah, no, there was a prompter, but the issue was with that is we shot that 8 minutes before they went live for Sports Personality, so we only had one. We could only do it once.
Yeah.
From the standing up in the crowd, the walking through, doing all the stuff. So also, we had to make sure that lots of people were in the audience because at Sports Personality they all wait in this room before they go out, and we had to go up to like Freddie Flintoff, and what we had to say to him, we had to go, Freddie, we're going to do this thing. Don't laugh along,
okay?
Because it can't look like it's like a sort of roast monologue.
Yeah,
which is why Freddie's such a brilliant actor. Looks so angry in that we just like make out like it's real. Don't just laugh along when we start saying all these things to different people. And the only instruction I was given was you can't interact with Capello because they were like, you're not allowed to interact with Capello.
What
What football ground are you thinking of when someone says this?
Really tough place to go. Difficult place to go. Such a tough place to go.
It's a tough place to go at the moment.
It was a really difficult place to go, always. But what are the toughest places to go, really? We've scoured the planet to find out. Forget a cold, wet Tuesday night in Stoke. Try playing in a blizzard 220 miles inside the Arctic Circle at the world's northernmost professional club. When Chelsea lost at Tromsø in Norway in the 97-98 Cup Winners' Cup, a massive snowstorm hit at half-time. These two boys and their brooms were absolutely no match for it. We're staying in Scandinavia for Scotland's toughest away day on a windswept cliff in the Faroe Islands. In Euro 2000 qualifying, Craig Brown's men were taken to fishing village Toftir. Kevin Gallagher called the pitch a cowfield and the wind like Pittodrie on a bad day. The Faroe Islands part-timers equalised in stoppage time, leading to these absolute scenes, and still one of Scotland's most embarrassing results.
Daft little ground, silly game.
But away trips don't come any tougher than a lung-busting schlep up the Andes to face Bolivia in La Paz. But now the Bolivians have taken home advantage to another level. The country's highest city, El Alto, 4,100 metres above sea level. Grass doesn't even grow up here. Bolivia have not lost here yet. The longest unbeaten run in any professional league ever belongs to Red Star Belgrade, or Crvena Zvezda if you must. They've gone 7 years without defeat at the Rajko Mitic in Serbia's Superliga. Their fans are pretty intimidating as well, but they're not as loud as this mob. Galatasaray's Ali Sami Yen Stadium's officially the loudest in world football. In a derby with Fenerbahce, Galatasaray fans set a Guinness World Record of 131 decibels. That's louder than Motorhead, and pretty tough to carry out your manager's instructions when you can't even hear them. However, our most intimidating away day is in Wales, where cameras can't enter and players can't leave. HMP Prescoed. This prison team was briefly kicked out the Gwent League over concerns about young opposition having to go in there. Now that's a tough place to go.
Early June 1939, Germany, always a tough place to go to.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Dean Saunders and Arnold Clark. Shop the upgrade event today. Get an extra £500 when you part exchange your car. Don't miss your chance to boost your valuation. Before all that, though, Pep Guardiola will be leaving Manchester City at the end of the season. Here's how talkSPORT reacted.
Manchester City are changing manager in the summer. We understand that Pep Guardiola will leave and that Enzo Maresca will take over.
I don't know whether we truly appreciate him right here, right now. Pep's going to go down as probably the best manager this country's ever seen.
He bought, arguably on occasion, the best style of play that I've ever seen in my 50 years of life. If I was the owners, the first person I would ask about appointing the next manager would be Pep Guardiola and say, what do you think? Who do you think should take over from you?
Which looks like it's exactly what has happened, doesn't it? Hence the Enzo Maresca link. Joining us now for all the very latest, a very good morning to talkSPORT's chief football correspondent, Alex Crook. Morning, Crookie.
Morning,
Good
Alex.
morning. Do we think that Maresca is absolutely concrete, a done deal?
Yeah, pretty much, Jeff. I've got to say this has been the worst kept secret in media circles for several weeks now. We've mentioned it on air that Pep Guardiola highly likely to depart at the end of this season. I tried to push him on it in the tunnel at Wembley after that FA Cup final win over Chelsea on Saturday, and he walked off mid-question, which was a pretty clear indication that, yeah, this is the direction of travel. Guardiola to depart at the end of the season. I think the club we've always pushed back. Whenever we've asked them the question, they point to the fact that he's still got a year left on his contract, wanted to keep it under wraps for as long as possible, all the time that City are still part of this title race. Of course, they have to win at Bournemouth tonight to keep that title race alive until the last day of the season. But when it comes to the replacement, it's my understanding that Enzo Maresca has had an agreement for several weeks, if not months, that he will be the successor to Pep Guardiola. It was just a case of whether Guardiola would step down at the end of this season or see out the final year of his contract. I think this is a move led directly by Guardiola himself. Maresca, a former Manchester City coach before going off and forging his own managerial career at Leicester and then at Chelsea, and they are very close friends. So if anybody knew about Pep Guardiola's plans, I would suggest it was Maresca himself.
Yeah, I think the argument with the Chelsea fans, Crookie, was that, and even Cole Palmer once when he got interviewed said, we keep passing the ball sideways. We started playing well when we started. I think the fans were saying that the football they were watching wasn't very good. And obviously, when you've got De Bruyne and Gundogan, you don't have to say a lot to them. They just play total football anyway. So it'd be interesting to see how he gets on. And will he sign anybody from Chelsea?
Well, will he try and take Cole Palmer back to the Northwest? Because we keep hearing those rumblings, don't we, that Cole Palmer isn't happy at Chelsea. I'm sure that the Chelsea are determined to keep hold of him and the rest of their top players. But it's a good point you make, Dino, about the style of play, because even when he was at Leicester and they won the championship at Acanto under Maresca, they weren't happy with some of the football they were watching, the Leicester City supporters. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of style he will embrace at the Etihad. And it's an impossible act to follow, isn't it? When you look at what Pep Guardiola has achieved as Manchester City manager, 20 trophies if you include the Community Shields and such like in 10 years. They've had 100-point seasons, domestic trebles that have included a first ever European Cup. And it's interesting because the other name that has been mentioned quite a lot when it comes to succession planning at Manchester City is Vincent Kompany. And the vibe I get from people close to him is that he would rather follow the successor to Pep Guardiola if he is going to come back to Manchester City than be the immediate replacement.
So, look, we all accept Pep has been absolutely wonderful. I mean, the list of trophies that he's won, so many superlatives to describe him. But does his legacy risk being tarnished by the outcome of the 115 charges, Crookie?
Well, not in Manchester City supporters' eyes, but it's a question you have to ask, Jeff. And I think whenever we pay tribute to Guardiola and what he's achieved, we do have to mention that these charges are still hanging over their heads. They've been hanging over their heads for far too long, as far as I'm concerned. And, you know, a judgment should have been reached a lot sooner than it is now when you look at how other cases have been dealt with. Everton and Forest both deducted points for their financial issues, and Southampton, we're going to find out a verdict probably today as to whether they're going to take their place in the Championship playoff final or not. So it is a head scratcher as to why this case has taken so long. The only assumption I can make is that the Premier League is so concerned by the power of Manchester City's lawyers, they have to make sure that whatever verdict they come to is absolutely watertight. But yeah, I think if you're not a Manchester City fan and you want to try and find a stick to beat Guardiola with, then this would be it. He always said, didn't he, that if they were found guilty, he would walk away. So some people will make the conclusion, well, actually, maybe the verdict is close and he knows that City are going to be found guilty. I'm told that isn't the case. He's just decided that 10 years is the right time to call it a day. I mean, 10 years is by far the longest he stayed at any one football club. And maybe he just feels that a fresh challenge is needed and a bit of a sabbatical probably as well.
Yeah, I think fans of other Premier League clubs are going to be celebrating today because they will feel that Manchester City will be weaker without Pep. And it's hard to argue otherwise. Alex, thanks very much indeed.
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, boys.
And if you want to hear more from Crookie on the Pep situation, the latest episode of the talkSPORT Daily podcast with Angelina Kelly and Alex Crook is now available via your usual podcast provider. They'll be discussing Pep's departure and reacting to Arsenal's 1-0 win over Burnley last night. And that's what we'll be talking about next. Did last night show exactly why Arsenal could be slightly unpopular champions? 4-year deal for Xabi Alonso as a manager. Wanted to be the manager because he wants more control. How much control do you think he'll have?
Well, certainly more than his predecessors, Liam Rosenior in particular. And obviously, as you mentioned there, Enzo Maresca was very frustrated by the end of his tenure because he had a doctor sat on the bench telling him exactly how many minutes his players could play. I don't see that being repeated under Xabi Alonso. And you're right to highlight the fact that he has been given the title of manager as opposed to head coach. That suggests that the owners are willing to hand over more control, have learned from their mistakes. In fact, speaking to sources at Stamford Bridge, they know this season has been a poor one. They said after they got rid of Liam Rosenior so quickly, having appointed him, that they would do a bit of soul searching. There would be a period of reflection. And they're describing this to me as the next stage in Chelsea's evolution by, instead of appointing a rookie manager like Liam, who was going to learn on the job, who was probably always going to struggle to command the respect of what is quite a difficult dressing room to control, they've now decided to hire someone who's been there, got the T-shirt, not just as a player, but as a manager as well, with that incredible invincible season at Bayer Leverkusen. Even Alonso's record at Real Madrid is not terrible, So I think instantly he'll command the respect of that dressing room because of what he does as a player, because of what he's already achieved in management. They're going to task him with building a culture befitting of a club like Chelsea. And it was quite clear in the statement when they announced him yesterday, they want to be challenging for the top honours, and they see this as the first step in that direction. How much control will he have? Well, certainly he's going to have a bigger input in transfer decisions than the likes of Rosenior and Maresca.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. The model of Chelsea, will they change that as well? Because it doesn't seem to be working, what they're trying to achieve at the moment. And Alonso might have a little bit more of an input into transfers and who they need. Because, look, you don't know what sort of system he's going to play. We play free at the back.
It's Danny Dyer! Wig, not wig.
It's a nutty canister, either way. I mean, look at the nut.
Bob Odenkirk! Saul was great. He was just a breath of fresh air. Amelia Clark! Star Wars versus Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, definitely.
I'm
loyal.
Don't tell me. Alex Hassel!
In season 2, a lot of us get our clothes off.
You do know you did that in season 1.
Exactly, that's true, yes.
Good morning, 7:18. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling and Dean Saunders. Griff from King's Lynn says, I think Pep will spend the summer watching the World Cup and then choose his next country to manage. Griff, you know what? You might be spot on. Won't be Spain, though. That's for sure.
You going to the World Cup, Jeff?
No, I'm not.
I'm just I'm just waiting for an invite.
Mm-hmm.
I had to talk.
Who are you hoping?
From who? Invite me.
Yeah.
To the World Cup somehow.
Yeah.
I have played for my country. I know we're not there, Wales.
Yeah, really.
Which is a bit of a downside.
Dino, if you'd qualified, you'd have been, top,
there, yeah.
You'd have been top of the list.
There still must be a place out there though somewhere, Jeff.
Now, Jamie Carragher says he's not surprised Mohamed Salah has had a final shot at the Liverpool boss Arnie slot. He labelled the Egyptians' actions as selfish. Well, the pair of them don't get on, do they? Let's be brutally honest, haven't done. Cara said, I told everybody something else will come before the end of the season. He'll drop another bomb, a little bit like Ronaldo did on the way out of Manchester United. I thought it may come after the end of the season when he'd moved on, but no. Dino, as a past manager, how would you feel if one of your players had said the things that Mo Salah has said?
I'm really disappointed with Mo Salah, really, because I'm his biggest fan. He's like a freak of nature. The getting 40 goals a season, 8 years on the bounce, or 30 or 40, whatever he's got. The consistency of him, The way he conducted himself for the 8 years, hardly ever said a word, just got on with his football. Run in behind without the ball, which a lot of wingers won't do. And for him to... He's had 3 goals at Arnie Slot. Let's get it right. He's tried to get the manager the sack. And I don't think... I know for a fact, Jeff, and you know, there's 94% on the poll, 94% of the Liverpool fans agree with Mo Salah. For me, right, 2 weeks' wages, number one. Who do you think you are talking about the club in that way? What if I don't fine you, I've got youngsters doing it, thinking they can pipe up. And the 7 lads who liked his tweet, they should be ashamed of themselves as well. That's my feelings on Mo Salah. He might be right what he's saying, right? But I don't think it's fair on Arnie Slot to put the boot on him, because Mo Salah's going to win that argument every time. He threw his toys out the pram when he subbed him and put him on the bench. He might have had an argument saying, how's Gap go on the pitch and I'm not? He might have had an argument in that department. We don't know what's gone on behind the scenes, whether they've had the crosswords, but he's thrown his toys out the pram, and this comment, knowing that Liverpool have got a win at the weekend, he's put Slot in a position. Does he play him? Does he tell him not to come to the game? But there's no need for him to have done it. He's Mo Salah, the legend, and now there's going to be a bit of a dark cloud over him leaving the club.
But because Mo Salah is a legend, and by the way, we all understand that Mo's had a way below par season for Liverpool, and Liverpool under Arnie Slot have had a way below par season as well. But the one thing is for sure, after the service that he's given Liverpool and the number of goals that he's got, Arnie Slot has to play him, has to give him his farewell in the final game of the season, because if he doesn't, we already know the fans were booing Slot in the previous home game. You know, if he decides that he's not going to play Mo Salah at some stage during the game, maybe not the whole match, some stage during the game, then he risks alienating the rest of those Liverpool.
Do you know what though, Jeff? I understand the fans, right? I understand now. If I was talking to the fans now, I say, look, obviously the team's not playing well. You're not happy with the manager. You're not happy with the style of football. I agree with you. But when you got a player like that coming out and doing that on Twitter or whatever it was, if you don't stamp on it, the whole lot start doing it. Yeah. It's like a free-for-all. Yeah. You know, you're in a team sport. If you're a golfer, you can put whatever you like on. But if you start saying negative things about the club, 2 weeks' wages. And he set the message out to the lot of them.
M6 Matt, by the way, says, never mind, yeah, Pedro, can't believe that Dino hasn't made the cut for the USA. And Tony in Manchester says, in regards to Pep's next club, he was spotted watching Stockport County a few weeks ago. Oh, Tony, Dave Challoner in charge at Stockport County. The man is a legend. No way Pep would want to try and replace him. We've already said it, you know. You can't follow a manager who has been of legendary status, and Dave Challoner is. Now, Arsenal will be Premier League champions tonight if Man City fail to win at Bournemouth after Arsenal squeaked home really against Burnley last night. For more on this, I'm delighted to say joining us now, talkSPORT presenter, Arsenal fan, Harry Symeou. Morning, Harry.
Morning, Harry.
Guys. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thanks, mate. Well, they won ugly, didn't they, last night? But from an Arsenal fan's perspective, doesn't matter a jot, does it?
No, it's results over performances at this stage. There's no question about that. It was a little bit nervier than I would have liked as an Arsenal fan. And it was interesting because in the lead up to this game, many had kind of earmarked it as one in which Arsenal could potentially build up goal difference. But I think as Premier League followers, we should be aware and we should understand that it doesn't always work out like this. But ultimately, it was about getting the job done. Annoying that the game was moved to a Monday night, I have to say, because it meant the sort of lap of appreciation at the end and the speeches at the end, which is tradition at the end of the season, felt a little bit rushed because people had to get home and get away. But still a massive night, a big night in Arsenal's season, and they're literally one step away now.
Do you think, Harry, that performance last night, I actually think they can play like that against PSG. I know, Jeff, you're not going to agree with me, and most people won't. I think they can be as solid as that. They've got 4 defenders, 6'4", across the back. All 4 of them. Havertz is 6'4". Declan Rice 6'2". Eze 6'1". Odegaard 6'1". They've got Trossard and Saka, who are small. But they can play like that and shut the door on everyone.
You know what, Dino? You know you were just wondering why people weren't taking you to the World Cup.
Exactly.
Just answered that.
I know it's not no one's going to agree with me, but I think Arsenal will beat PSG because they're so solid.
They've got to win the title first. How concerned were you? If Man City do win tonight, how concerned were you about the fact that Arsenal were so edgy in the latter stages, Harry?
I think it's natural, Jeff. I think when you're chasing something that you've never won before, doubts are going to creep in at certain points. They don't have the experience that Man City do within their ranks, for example, to say, lock it down, this is what we need to do, we've been there, done this. And they can't take confidence from previous experiences because, as I say, it's the first time. So, yeah, I think, look, it's a little bit frustrating and it's not really what you want to see. But I could also think of many games over the last month or so when, you know, Arsenal were very confident and were able to push through the pressure. Look, if Manchester City win tonight, they win. And we've got to do our job. We've had clarity about our task for quite a while, and I think that's helpful. If Manchester City fail to win, and I've got a sneaky feeling they might tonight, then it's a great night and we can just enjoy Sunday.
Harry, they're top of the league. They're in the Champions League final. Whatever they're doing something right. It's the football snobbery that don't like Arsenal. I think Arteta is doing a great job. There's more than one way to win a game of football. And he's found a formula. Right. He's found the formula which gets results. It's not the best to look at. It's not like watching Man City, but there's more than one way to win a game of football.
You're absolutely right. And I think, you know, ultimately it's about getting over the line this first time. And then I think there will be an expectation within the Arsenal fan base to see Arsenal take the next step and to play a slightly different way and to be a little bit more expansive. And I honestly think that will come. I don't think Mikel Arteta is as defensive a coach as people make him out to be. If you look at previous seasons, we weren't talking about this as much. You know, it feels like for me, they got to last summer, they realized that, you know, they were still short and he tried to figure out the best way to approach a Premier League campaign. And for Arsenal, it was about finding a sustainable way, because how many times in recent years have they got to that business end and dropped off? And if that meant playing in a slightly different way, a way that's a little bit less energy sapping, then that's what they had to do. And ultimately, you know, the style of play is going to be neither here nor there. It won't be written in the history books if Arsenal win this thing, you know, scored 18 goals from corners or anything like that. That's for the critics to come out with. I don't remember this sort of noise around Jose Mourinho when he was...
Harry, 5 years ago, the club was in a mess.
Exactly.
Like, similar to Man United, the mess that they were in. He's changed everybody's attitude at the club. In 5 years, it's an example to every Premier League club. Put the manager in charge, get all the bad eggs out, get everyone that's playing for Arsenal's got a good attitude, and you'll get success. And I think he's done a great job.
Yeah, and I think the atmosphere inside Emirates Stadium as well is really telling. You know, I'm someone that's been going there since it first opened. I used to go to Highbury, and I can't remember everybody ever being as united as they are now, even when, you know, the team was winning things and was doing really, really well. He knew that was something that needed to be worked on. He knew that if they could reestablish that connection, and that comes from a lot of things, being successful, being competitive, but also being committed, showing the right attitude, the right behaviors, that the fans would buy in. And if you've got the fans on your side, you know, sometimes we see things online, I'm sure you guys see it, where it looks like there's division in the Arsenal camp. If you were inside Emirates Stadium last night, you'd have looked around and gone, wow, like this place is unrecognizable from what it was 3 or 4 years ago. And that's been a part of the plan as well as what's been executed on the pitch.
Within touching distance now, Harry, and I have to say just very briefly, I mean, Arteta got it absolutely spot on with Kai Havertz. Yeah, he should have been sent off second half, but what a great header it was that won the game for them. Harry, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Harry. Good luck.
talkSPORT presenter and Arsenal fan Harry Symeou there with us. They got a Crystal Palace on the final.
Some stick Arsenal, don't they, Jeff?
Yeah, you know why they get
style. The style.
Yeah, of course. They won 1-0 at West Ham, 1-0 against Newcastle, 1-0 against Burnley, 1-0 against Brighton, 1-0 against Palace, 1-0 against Everton, 1-0 against Fulham, 1-0 against Manchester United. That's why they get stick. But Harry's right. When you look back at the record books, it won't mention the fact that they just got over the line in some games. It will just say champions 2025 to 2026, Arsenal, providing, of course, that Manchester City don't win at Bournemouth tonight.
No one mentioned John Terry scoring 7 winners from corners when Mourinho was manager.
Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah.
They kept winning 1-0.
Yeah. Coming up, who'll finish the season with the North East bragging rights?
Successive defeats for West Ham. Spurs 1-2, drew 1 in their last 3. Spurs need just a point from their final 2 games to secure survival. So, Martin, would it be fairly unforgivable for Spurs not to survive from here?
Oh yeah, look, they're in the boss seat now. De Zerbe's come in and put together some really good results, Jim. Look, I said way back, we were both sat there, one thing that we may disagree now, someone likes to disagree with me, but one thing we did agree on was that West Ham, their fixtures look much more difficult, and if Spurs could wake up, we all knew, didn't we? I mean, at one stage, it was just because it's Spurs, but this new manager's come in and made a change. So I see Spurs now as being pretty comfortable. West Ham have shot themselves in the foot yesterday because of their performance.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been pretty consistent that West Ham would get relegated, primarily because there was always this powerhouse in the back of your mind that you can't countenance Spurs being relegated. So I imagine Spurs' avoiding relegation will be as certain as Arsenal winning the league now in Martin's mind, because we're able to make those observations. But the fact of the matter is that West Ham, and Martin's right, I was under the impression that he'd had a lot less games. I don't know how many league games has he, but he's been in charge of Nuno Espirito Santo. He's been in charge of West Ham for 36 games. And despite the fact, I looked at their statistics yesterday before the game. The last 15 games, they've taken 22 points. They're taking a point and a half a game. If they'd had that all season, they'd be miles away from this situation. But prior to that, I think he took some time to get into his stride.
Too long. Too long.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, I don't know how many games they had before he took in. I'll have a look in a second. But they were in chaos when he came there. They were in a mess when they came there. So could he have got them out quicker? Possibly. But you look at that side yesterday, and it's not really... Of the two teams between Tottenham and West Ham, the team that's been in better form, had more resilience and more about them, has been West Ham. Even when they got beat 3-0 by Brentford, there are 2 clear penalties that have subsequently been revealed as being penalties that should have been given to them. Yeah. They hit the post twice and crossbar twice. So they were in that game. Yeah. But that was the West Ham that we saw yesterday that's been at the beginning of the season that's got them in this mess because they were poor across the board.
Over the last few years, Formula One has gone from elitist and insular to a global entertainment brand. The transformation's down to American investment group Liberty Media, who cultivated a new image for the sport since buying it in 2016. Better access to drivers, improved content on social media, and tapping into the US market have given F1 a massive boost in both attention and revenues. But is everyone happy? The fans certainly are, as evidenced by Drive to Survive. Almost 7 million people per season have tuned in to get all the gossip and all the drama from the paddock. The extra exposure means the drivers can demand a higher salary too. In 2010, the top drivers were earning $20 million a year, which isn't bad. But now, the very best earn 3 times that, with Max Verstappen getting a whopping $65 million in 2025. But money doesn't always buy happiness. Some drivers, including Verstappen, don't like the pageantry the changes have brought about. In Las Vegas in 2023, Verstappen said the drivers were made to look like clowns, and the event was 99% performance and 1% race. Some purists who still watch the sport feel the same, and that the spirit of competition has suffered. But Formula One and Liberty Media don't look like slowing down anytime soon. So expect more races, major events and exclusive access in future.
the ultimate football fan winning feeling with talkSPORT Win.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling and Dean Saunders. Courtesy of Adidas, the tournament's official match ball supplier, we're giving away a trip to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. You and a mate could be heading to Dallas to see England against Croatia live on June the 17th with flights, hotels, spending money, tickets and the official Trianda match ball all included. Head to talksportwin.com to enter and for full T's and C's. There you go, Dino. You know, you said you weren't going to the States for the World Cup. Enter the competition.
Yeah, Matt.
Yeah, you could get a trip there.
We're not allowed,
yeah.
are we, Jeff? We're not allowed in case there's skullduggery.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're not allowed to be in it.
Let's go back to the phone lines. Enzo Maresca, the man is who's in line to replace Pep Guardiola as Man City boss next season. At least that's what we understand. Mark is a Liverpool fan. Mark is a Liverpool fan. Good morning to you. What are you feeling about that?
Morning, guys. Pleasure to be on. Love your sport.
Thanks, Mark.
So, yeah, I'm a Liverpool fan. Woke up this morning to hear the news, and I think it's a very sad day for the Premier League, best league in the world. My point being is, what's the impact now going forward on the Premier League? We've had an exceptional manager who's created an incredible level of competition. Regardless of the funds, etc., my concern is the standards going to be the same? Is the competition going to be the same? What's going to happen to the league? I've sat watching Slot, looked at Arsenal. They're not doing the same. They're nowhere near the same as City. So yeah, that's my concern. Be interesting to see what your thoughts are.
Well, he played a certain style of football, didn't he? That was unstoppable and with great players. I mean, even Mahrez, Sane. The wingers, even Raheem Sterling was with Kyle Walker behind him, De Bruyne, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva. They were all brilliant on the ball, and they used to make them cutting little diagonal runs in behind the opposition's fullbacks, and they'd slide the ball through, and it was Aguero. Now it's Haaland, and he's trying to build another team. But I think he'll be remembered for innovation, getting the fullbacks inverted, and players playing in different positions. And Klopp will be remembered for the upper natty football, that he got on top of you. Can't
Which would
breathe.
you rather watch?
Liverpool, all day long. Liverpool, Mane, Salah, Firmino, that team was like you couldn't get out of your own half. Yeah. They were on top of you, the front three. You had three, not silky players like Man City's in midfield, in Henderson, Milner and Fabinho, three workers who got in behind the front three, and two fullbacks who bombed on and crossed it. And they got the ball in the box as quick as they could. Two wingers who were lightning quick. Man City is more popping the ball around you, find ways play through the lines, and they'll find a way through you. And he managed to do it. If you survive 12 months as a manager, you've done well. He survived 10 years at Man City.
Not too shabby.
So he's not had too many bad patches.
No, he certainly has. Mark, thank you very much for the call.
Thanks, Mark.
Pleasure. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Thank you. Now, what a season it's been for Sunderland. 13 wins. Has moved on to 51 points. Remember, they were red-hot favourites for relegation, by the way. And a European spot is still within reach. Even if they get to Europe, though, I think doing the double over Newcastle will absolutely be the highlight of their season.
Listen to that roar! It's finished at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland 1, Newcastle 0, and Nick Voltemada own goal on 46 minutes.
Lefay here pulls it across. Brobbey's there! Brobbey turns it in! He takes off his shirt in celebration. He might just have won the Tyne-Wear derby for Sunderland. A third Premier League double over Newcastle United for Sunderland. They keep their hold over their nearest and dearest. It's Sunderland who won it away at Newcastle by 2-1.
Yeah, what a season it has been for Sunderland. 2 points above Newcastle at the moment. Let's talk to a man who played for them both. Former Newcastle and Sunderland midfielder. More importantly, of course, he's the new Hartlepool United manager. Lee Clark. Morning, Clarkie.
Morning, Lee. How are you, Dino? You all right?
Very good. Hey, by the way, you've gone back for a bit more now into management again. More pain.
mate, the fire's been relit.
Good
the
lad.
The little spell at Rotherham, and then obviously getting that call last Sunday from Landon to have a chat with him about the Hartlepool job. I'm absolutely buzzing. The juices are flowing. I'm ready for the challenge.
Yeah, we'll come back to that in a moment, Lee. But look, Sunderland 2 points above Newcastle at the moment. Sunderland finish at home to Chelsea. Newcastle finish away to Fulham. If you're not from the North East, maybe you don't get how important it is for these two clubs who finishes the higher. But what a season Sunderland have had. You must have been surprised by it.
Very surprised, but they've been unbelievable. What I think what they've done, Jeff, they've shown at the start of the season that no matter what was going to be happening, they were having a go. The money they spent and the players they brought in, no one could have criticised them if the worst had happened, because they had a right go, And but what they've done is their recruitment team must be unbelievable, because they've brought in terrific players, and as you say, they're on the cusp of getting into Europe, which is unbelievable, really. When you think of a team that's just came up, it's bucked the trend, hasn't it, of previous years? Because that's what's been the problem in recent years. The teams that have come up have gone straight back down, but this hasn't happened with them.
Lee, they had such a good start and collected so many points that they were never going to get relegated. After about 10 games, they had enough points to probably stay up. And I don't know what the second half's not been as good. Have teams found them out a little bit?
Possibly, yeah, but I think it's been the home form as well. The home form's been absolutely brilliant. Even when the big clubs have gone there, in terms of getting results, they've found it difficult. So they've made the stadium a tough place to go. I think what they'll do now again in the summer, by all accounts, what I'm hearing up here in the North East, they'll go again for the next level of player, because what they've done, they've consolidated. Well, they've done more than that, potentially get into Europe, so they can go to the next level of player now. So, it's going to be an interesting summer for both clubs as well, for Newcastle also.
Well, never mind for those two clubs. It's going to be a big summer for our club as well, isn't it, Lee? Look, I know it's a job that you've been interested in for a while at Hartlepool. Are you going to have any money to spend? Has Landon Smith, the owner, told you that there is money available? And will you be spending it, or will the consultants be spending it for you?
Straight in, Jeff. I love it. Straight in. Yes, there will be money to spend, and we're going to be competing for the highest level of player at the level we're working at. Got a very competitive budget, and the first 4 or 5 days has been all about looking at players, speaking to agents, speaking to clubs, and to try and get what we're doing is, when I'm speaking to players, I'm asking them, or I'm asking my recruitment team, can you get us promoted? When we're talking about players, that's the key. Can this player that you're putting to me now, can he get us promoted? And so that's what we're looking to do. We want to be competitive in a very competitive league, a very tough league. But yeah, so that's the way we're going. It's been full on for 4 or 5 days since I took the job. So yeah, buzzing, loving the fact that I'm back in, and as you said, a club that I've tried to be a manager of many times now. I eventually got it, and I think I've come in at the right time. A new era, new owner, really good feeling around the club. And we were in only 6 or 7 players still on the list. So I've got a really blank sheet of paper to go and get my own squad and challenge in a really competitive league.
Lee, Newcastle, obviously good performance the other day against West Ham. I was pleased for Eddie Howe. He lost Isaac at the start of the season, and I don't know if people seem to have forgot that he was involved. I think he scored 30-odd goals. He was involved in 17 assists. And when you lose a player like that, it affects any team. Your strikers are your main players. What do you think he's going to do next season? And it looks like he's going to stay at the club. What do you think he needs to do?
Well, first of all, I'm delighted, Dino, because I'm a huge fan of Eddie. I've been a fan from the early 80s, and Eddie's delivered something that we've never had for a long, long time. You work at the club, you know what the club's like, the demands and all that. So I'm a huge fan of Eddie Howe. I want him to stay. I believe he's the best coach for us, manager, whatever you want to call him. And I just think that the recruitment has to just get back on point. Before last summer, his recruitment was outstanding. And I think with the Isaac thing taking as long as it did, it just knocked us a little bit off sync in terms of how we recruited players. We got knocked back on a few who went elsewhere. And it's just took its toll a little bit. But outstanding manager. That 99.9% of the fans absolutely adore him, and rightly so. And we just got to go again this summer and get the recruitment right again to kick on. I think what it's done in the last 2 years when we've been in the Champions League, it showed that we just haven't got a big enough, quality enough squad to be competing on all those trophies. So that's what we've got to do going forward. We've got to, if we get to them levels again, hopefully we do, where we're getting the Champions League, we've got to give them a big enough squad to handle, playing in all these big competitions. Because the good thing for Eddie is he takes the cup competitions very seriously as well. So, we're pushing on 4 fronts, and so we'll have to have a bigger squad for him.
Lee, let's hope 99% of the Hartlepool fans are loving you as well, mate.
Good luck.
Good luck. I'm absolutely right behind you. Let's get a few in through the door sooner rather than later. Good man. Good luck. I'll see you soon.
Looking forward to seeing you, Jeff. See you soon.
Cheers, Lee. Take care, mate.
Bye.
Right, still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Go big on landscaping with Travis Perkins. Find everything you need at travisperkins.co.uk.
Aston Villa off to Istanbul for the Europa League final Wednesday, so talkSPORT. We're going to bring you all the latest from Turkey. From Torquay then. From Turkey with talkSPORT's Voice of Live Football, Adrian Durham at 8. And the former Villa striker Gabi Agbonlor, who has had an authentic Turkish shave. That was our breakfast preview with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. From fence panels to decking or paving packs to topsoil, Travis Perkins has all your landscaping needs covered.
We had this conversation in the studio, and your bags of energy, and whilst you might be a little bit drained now, you'll replenish your tank, and there's plenty left in you. Do you think you merit the opportunity? Do you think Celtic should be offering you this job? I know it's a difficult question for you to answer, but come on,
right.
You've gone in there, you've fixed their problems, and you've steadied the ship, and you've won the league for them in a season where it's been a disaster for them.
Do I think that Celtic should offer me? Do
you think you merit it?
Do I feel I've merited? Of course I have.
Did you? I know, but I'm trying to move you. I'm trying to move you from the diplomatic fence sitting position that you want to take. Did you chase Hearts down, Martin, or did they lose their nerve and blink?
No, I don't think they lost their nerve and blinked at all. Absolutely not. What they've done over there has been fantastic. What the manager has done has been terrific, absolutely terrific. And last night he was voted Manager of the Year, quite rightly so. It was a really great effort. What we have here, I think, sometimes, Simon, in your disparagement of the league, is that we actually have some really, really fine managers, young managers who are very, very good. I'm working with some brilliant coaches who are just terrific, and I do learn an awful lot from it. Now, I understand the reason of this disparagement is because there is really no money.
Which, by the way, you joined in as well before you went back there.
No, joined in what way?
In terms of making observations about the quality of the teams in the league and the quality of Rangers. So pack your nonsense in.
No, absolutely. I'm saying this, but what has happened? Sometimes when you're working at the coalface, as you often do, make real great judgments from about 14 a million miles away. And
I had you next to me to be able to support those judgments before you went back to Celtic. So pack it in. So don't you dare be a hypocrite.
And then I stepped into the court and realized that both of us were talking bunkum.
Oh, of course.
Not wig.
It's a nutty canister, either way. I mean, look at the nut.
Bob Odenkirk!
Saul was great. He was just a breath of fresh air.
Amelia Clark! Star Wars versus Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, definitely.
I'm
loyal.
Don't help Alex Hassel!
In season 2, a lot of us get our clothes off.
You do know you did that in season 1?
Exactly, that's true, yes.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Dean Saunders, and Arnold Clark. Buy a used car, get a free 2-year service plan plus an extra £500 when you part exchange. Shop the upgrade event today. Chopper the Hammer in Winchester says, morning chaps, Pep's missing one thing on his CV, that's taking a club from the Championship to the Premier League. Do you think he'd fancy one last hurrah at West Ham next season? Chopper, dream on, mate, dream on. How many managers this season? Right, time now for our coffee break with Costa Express.
The Costa Coffee Break on talkSPORT, sponsored by Costa Express. Quality coffee, quality day.
And Olivia Bazan's in the studio with us. Hi again, Olivia.
Hello, Olivia.
Hello.
Just looking at the TV.
It was good timing, wasn't it?
Yeah. If I was a manager now, I'd sign João Pedro.
I don't want to resume but Igor Thiago has scored for Brazil.
One goal.
One goal.
You started again, Jack.
One goal.
Only two appearances and one goal.
Anyway, we'll move on.
You
We'll
said
save
you were
that
gonna
debate.
leave it.
We'll see what happens with Brazil over the World Cup. Let's see how they get on.
Yeah.
Anyway, it is Chelsea against Spurs tonight.
We're back to Chelsea again.
It's not me, Dino. You'll learn. With the shows that I do, everyone thinks I get to choose. But it's Chelsea Spurs tonight. It is a big game. There is still a lot riding on it. So it's only right we take you back to May the 2nd, 2016.
A Premier League fixture rich in history and rivalry. Rarely is there ever a dull day or night.
Costa through the Hazard! Eden Hazard has gone it beyond Hugo Lloris. Eden Hazard has won the Premier League title for Leicester.
The rivalry that day of the game was, I think we did cross the line that day.
Not one but two 20-man brawl. At the moment, these two sides are now really at each other.
It is a rivalry that has never lacked for spice or intrigue.
There's an incident right in front of us with Fabregas. Then all of a sudden, Pochettino was involved in one. This is fiery to say the least.
Mark Clattenburg blows the whistle. Spurs haven't won here. They have been held to a 2-2 draw, and it means that Leicester City are the Barclays Premier League champions.
Yes, Battle of the Bridge was back in 2016, so almost 10 years ago that game was. Chelsea Spurs tonight, we can only hope and pray and dream of another Battle of the Bridge. Can we, Dino?
Well, I think it's a big game. It's a big game for both teams, but a real big game for Spurs. If Spurs can get a result tonight, that's them safe. The manager's come in, De Zerbi, done his job. I think he's got them all rowing in the right direction now. They were a shambles And I can't get the sight out of my head where Van der Ven and Spence are walking off the pitch, not shaking hands with Thomas Frank. So big game. I think Spurs have got a bit more to play for.
It's interesting. They've got more away points this season than either Aston Villa or Liverpool. It's their home form.
Amazing.
That's been the problem. How do they approach it though, Dino? Because they need a point. A point
Just
is
a
enough.
point.
How do you approach it?
We've just got to go out and not let nerves affect what you're good at. You know, individually or on the pitch, you've got something that you're good at. Every player's got strengths and weaknesses. So your strengths have got to turn up on the night. And you can't let nerves and the situation stop you getting a 7 out of 10. If they can get 7 players with 7 out of 10, they'll get a result against Chelsea. Chelsea are not in the best of form, are they? Was it 1 win in 7?
Yeah, okay against City.
But new manager.
But that's the thing.
They were okay. I wonder whether just the announcement that Xabi Alonso is going to be in charge, I wonder if that's going to give Chelsea a massive lift.
It's a great appointment for Chelsea, though, isn't it? Because you know he's going to get things right. He's managed in Germany, and then he managed Real Madrid, and he's gone to Chelsea. And nobody expected him to go to Chelsea, but he's not actually walking into a Rolls Royce, is he?
No.
It's a bit of a mess.
Work. Yeah, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. There's no reports whether Xabi Alonso will be at Stamford Bridge. I think Chelsea fans would probably like him to be at Stamford Bridge tonight, just be watching on. They'll know if he's not, he'll be watching from afar. But what is it about Spurs going away to Stamford Bridge? 1 win in 36 years.
Yeah.
At Stamford
Strange,
Bridge.
that, isn't it?
Yeah.
1 win.
Strange. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. They had a really good team. It seems like 2 years ago. Kane, Son, Kulusevski. They had Bentancur and Højbjerg in midfield. Even what's his name? Brennan Johnson's gone now. They've seemed to have turned into a team where you look at their players and you think, would I take any of them to a top 6 team? There's not many. 2 centre halves maybe, and they've been dodgy as well.
Yeah,
but they look like they've just done enough to get out of trouble.
Do you are De Zerbi right now? Do you risk James Maddison tonight? Came on for a few minutes against Leeds, or do you save him in case he is required in that last home game of the season?
Do you know when he come on, we forgot how good he was, didn't we?
I've never.
When he come on, I went...
Yeah, but we haven't seen... I mean,
He's fantastic.
Every time the ball goes near him or whatever he done with it, when he turn in with it, the way he gets on the ball, he finds space... He was actually making them play.
He's exactly what Spurs need.
Yeah, someone to get on the ball.
Bit of creativity, makes them play.
Yeah, I'd play
in the way that Cole Palmer should be doing for Chelsea, but isn't really at the moment.
No, he's not doing it at the moment, and we wait and see whether he's in Thomas Tuchel's squad on Friday. But again, this is possibly the last chance. Thomas Tuchel was at Wembley on Saturday, and he saw Cole Palmer, and there was glimpses, but not enough for me that would get him on the plane based off of what we've seen from him this season.
Is he injured?
Carrying
a groin or something.
Yeah, so basically, in an ideal world, there would be no tournament this summer, and Cole Palmer could just sit at home and have this groin surgery and get it done, because there is no, he's been in and out of the squad this season because of that groin injury that's been coming and going. But when he has played, he hasn't been good enough. That's clear for everyone to see. But I still don't know whether Thomas Tuchel picks him. And today, really tonight, that and Sunday, but by that point, Chelsea might have nothing to play for in terms of Europe might be done if Chelsea don't win tonight.
Yep.
So this is his last chance.
Yeah. There is a lot on tonight. I mean, Chelsea could still finish 6th.
Yeah, I know.
Is everybody relying on Villa, Jeff? Is everybody relying on Villa?
Yeah.
To win the final?
Yeah, to win the final and finish 4th, isn't it?
5th. So you need...
Finish 5th, that's right.
Yeah, you need Liverpool to win against Brentford on the final day, and you need Man City to beat Villa. In that case, Villa would finish 5th. If they win the Europa League, then 6th gets Champions League. Right. But Bournemouth only need a point. Out of their two games, they need a point. And if they get a point, they will finish 6th. So like we say, there's a lot riding on this for Spurs because they need a point. They've got 11 draws at Stamford Bridge in that time since 1990, but obviously Chelsea historically do tend to win this game. But for Chelsea, this is a real chance. They don't want Conference League, realistically. They want Europa League, or if everything goes Chelsea's way, which is highly unlikely, but if it does, they're still in a position where they can get Champions League, and that only comes if Chelsea win tonight. So it's a huge game for both.
It's fascinating.
The only thing I'd say,
game.
Jeff, if you're not in Europe, you won't get the best players in the summer.
But the pull of Xabi, I was saying this, right? So you've got one game a week, but is the pull of Xabi Alonso, if Xabi Alonso calls you and says, I want you to come and play for me, is that a big enough pull without Europe?
Yeah, and is the Conference League or even the Europa League, is that a real pull for the big players? I'm not convinced.
But Xabi
Olivia.
Alonso, maybe.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, we agree.
We agree, wow.
Thanks, Olivia.
Can you make friends now? It's a
Yeah,
bit awkward on the radio.
friends.
You know what I mean?
You're always friends.
I'm in the middle of it.
Now,
Round one.
don't forget, we have an unmissable watch-along tonight. Join Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy for Chelsea against Spurs from 7. You can catch it live and completely free over on the talkSPORT YouTube channel. We're crossing to Istanbul next. That was all thanks to Costa Express.
The Costa Coffee Break on talkSPORT. Sponsored by Costa Express. Quality coffee, quality day.
Hours later, Mo Salah took to social media, and we know that Salah is out there very shortly. And he says, I've witnessed this club go from doubters to believers and from believers to champions. It took hard work, and I always did everything I could to help the club get there. Us crumbling to yet another defeat this season was very painful and not what our fans deserve. I want to see Liverpool go back to being the heavy metal attacking team that opponents fear and back to being a team that wins trophies. That's the football I know how to play, and that's the identity that needs to be recovered and kept for good. It can't be negotiable, and everyone that joins this club should adapt to it. Why is he doing that, do you think, Simon? I've heard this discussed in various other outlets, but let's do it ourselves. What's his motivation, do you think?
He doesn't get on very well with Arne Slot, I suspect. Doesn't agree with him. They've obviously had a fault. Nothing's changed. What do we think changed? There was no massive climb down from Salah for his outburst back in October, November, December of last year, was there? So there was only a papering over the cracks and managing of the situation. The players leaving, he's out the door. He doesn't seemingly or apparently or evidently get on with the manager. So he's having his two-penneth. He's throwing his little two-penneth in. What I think was more concerning was the errant little bunch of despots that have thrown their two-penneth in behind him by liking his tweet, which are current players in the squad. He's a thing of the past. He's been a wonderful player for Liverpool. He's achieved wonderful things with Liverpool, and Liverpool have been wonderful for him. He's now gone.
Who are these little despots like Curtis Jones, liked the post with a hand clapping emoji? Yeah. Dominic Szoboszlai also liked it on Instagram.
We can all make, do we really run our world by social media posts? I mean, some people would say that a president was elected as a result of social media, so you have to give it some credence. But the fact that these guys have liked it, whilst I don't sit there looking around to see who likes things, there is an element of, was that really necessary? He's entitled to have his view. He's out the door. There's no casualties for him, besides perhaps leaving a mark on Arne Slot because he doesn't particularly like him and doesn't enjoy playing for him and doesn't respect him. Because clearly he doesn't respect him because he said the things he said.
Aguero, Solskjaer, Deeney, Watkins. Sure, you know all about those last-minute goals, but have you heard the one about the on-loan goalkeeper who saved his temporary employers from disappearing out the Football League and into almost certain financial oblivion? Back in 1999, Carlisle United, managed by Nigel Pearson, were fighting to stay in the Football League. Carlisle's finances were precarious with a capital P that season, leading to a scenario where, with 3 games to go, they had to ask the FA to sanction an emergency loan deal to bring in a goalkeeper. Swindon Town's Jimmy Glass arrived at the club. His efforts in his first 2 games earned the Cumbrians 2 draws. Those vital points meant that Carlisle went into their final game of the Division 3 season, now League 2, needing to beat mid-table Plymouth Argyle in front of their own fans and hope their relegation rival Scarborough didn't win against Peterborough at home. The game at the McCain Stadium finished 1-1, and with the same scoreline at Brunton Park deep into injury time, Scarborough's fans invaded the pitch en masse, believing their Football League status was secure, convinced they'd done enough to stay up. However, there'd be one more plot twist. Carlisle won a corner in the dying seconds, and up came Jimmy Glass. In one of those you couldn't make it up moments, Glass scored from a rebounded header and was promptly swamped by teammates and thousands of fans who quite simply couldn't believe what they'd just witnessed. As for Jimmy Glass, he became an overnight celebrity, but he never played for Carlisle again, and his playing career never really kicked on after that defining moment. He took on various jobs outside of football before finding his way back into the sport as player liaison officer at Eddie Howe's Bournemouth, and most recently the general manager at non-league Wimborne. Not the fairy tale ending to one of the most Hollywood moments in football, but the name Jimmy Glass will live on forever as the scorer of that goal, arguably the most important in any club's history.
Good morning, 7 minutes past 8 o'clock. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Dean Saunders and Arnold Clark. It's the perfect time to upgrade your car. Get 2 years free servicing when you buy a used car in the upgrade event. Check it out online. Just one story in town today, really. Pep Guardiola set to leave Man City after Sunday's final game of the season at home to Aston Villa. Enzo Maresca set to step in to replace him. I'm pleased to say joining us live from Istanbul ahead of tomorrow's Europa League final between Freiburg and Aston Villa, talkSPORT's chief football anchor, Adrian Durham. Morning, Adrian.
Jeff Dean, good morning to you from Istanbul. It's yeah, well, you know the lingo, mate. It's a beautiful day here. Absolutely lovely little breeze. Just taking the edge off. It's beautiful.
Love the shades. Hey, will Luke Williams be concerned? I'm told that Pep wants to prove himself at a lower level.
Listen, not even he could mould that squad of players into anything remotely like a top-half League One club. So, best stay away, Pep.
Adrian, when you go in the restaurants, all you got to say is Teşekkür and çok güzel. Thank you, and
okay.
Teşekkür's thank you, and çok güzel is very nice. Very nice.
Well, this is not useful information.
That's all I've got in my bag.
What are the translations for red wine and kebab? That's what we want to know.
I just got the basics, Jeff.
Yeah. So, what do you make of the fact that Maresca seems to have been lined up to replace Pep, Adrian?
Well, it's no surprise, really. He's got that history with Pep, history with Manchester City. So, listen, there was a walkout on Chelsea for a reason. I think this was all lined up a long time ago, as we just heard in the bulletin. It's no real surprise that there's a succession plan at Manchester City. Nobody will have been taken by surprise at the football club by it. So, I get it. And listen, it could be that situation where he's the man after Pep and it proves to be a struggle, or he might know so much about the way Pep works and the way Man City works that it'll just be a seamless transition. We've got to wait and see on that one. But I actually think he's a decent manager and he'll continue that style that Man City play. It's just whether he wins the trophies or not.
Ed, where do you think Pep's going to go now?
Well, it's a great question. I would suspect that after 10 years he's going to have a break, but I do wonder if international football is going to be his thing from now on, whether he really wants to give that a crack, whether it's going into Brazil after Carlo Ancelotti. If it is a break he's going to have, is he going to wait a couple of years and then maybe take the England job? Would Spain interest him? He's sort of shied away from that in the past. Maybe the USA job, but I suspect that international football might be his thing. I just think there'll be a fire burning within him to take an international job and to take an international team to a tournament, and a team that's got a chance of doing something at a tournament.
Aid, I'm sure that Istanbul's going to be awash with fans, certainly by tomorrow. I just wonder, you look at the two teams, Villa against Freiburg, and I'm as guilty of this as anybody by thinking Villa will win this. Is there a danger of overconfidence here? I know they had the ideal preparation, but so did Freiburg. They won 4-1 against Leipzig at the weekend.
Yeah, they did. Listen, we've seen loads of Villa fans. I got here late last night. We've seen loads of Villa fans since we've been here. They're all very positive, and the one difference between them and Freiburg is Unai Emery. Aston Villa fans have got this ultimate faith in their manager. They absolutely love him. There were Villa fans with Unai Emery face masks on the plane. It was a bit weird seeing Unai Emery everywhere. But they've got this ultimate faith in their manager. They see him as the big difference. And listen, player for player, Aston Villa are better. If you've studied the Freiburg side, yeah, they had a 4-1 win, secured European football at the weekend. They look good. They've got goals in them. But Aston Villa are a better side. And if they play anything like they did against Nottingham Forest in the second leg, Liverpool Friday night, they were sensational, Aston Villa. I think they're right on it. This is going to be their time. I can't actually make a case for Freiburg winning this Europa League final. This has got to be Aston Villa's. I think it's a massive shock if Villa don't do this.
Ed, is there any injury news? I heard Onana's struggling a little bit.
Yeah, nothing set as yet. Later on today, we're going to hear from Unai Emery inside the stadium a little bit later on, and we'll watch them training as well. We might get a better picture then, Dino, but I think they're the key for Aston Villa. And remember earlier in the season when McGinn was out, Tielemans was out, and it was a big miss for them in the midfield. They lost something key to their team. You can look at goal scorers, you can look at the World Cup winning keeper, but in midfield, they call him Super John McGinn for a reason. It's because he's absolutely super. And I think that they missed him and Tielemans when they were out. So those two being back and fit and firing, I think is absolutely crucial to Aston Villa. But I think we'll get a clearer picture on the team news and the injury news a little bit later on inside that stadium behind me.
Yeah, and not only Watkins, 19 goals and 16 of those.
I'm really
Christmas.
pleased for him, Jeff.
Just brilliant. Ada, did you get the chance to see any of Arsenal-Burnley last night?
Well, they'd said to me, do you want to do the Arsenal game? Do you want to go to the Arsenal game and see them take a step closer to the title, or do you want to get as far away as possible and go to Istanbul? So I said, yeah, Istanbul's fine by me. But I have seen the highlights of it. I saw the Havertz foul. It's a red card. I don't know what PGMO and VAR are doing. It's making a mockery of the season, to be honest with you.
They don't know what they're doing either, Ed. They don't know.
Literally don't know what they're doing. The handball at the weekend was an absolute shocker, Man United's goal. So, I mean, they've lost their way completely. And I think somebody needs to hold their hands up and say, we've got this completely wrong. In my world, you get rid of VAR completely. They keep telling me that's not going to happen. I hope it does. I think it can happen. You could just get rid of it and go back to how it was. That'll be absolutely fine. And pump the money you're putting into VAR and Stockley Park into places in football that need it, like grassroots. So that's my solution to the problem. There's too many people. There'd be turkeys voting for Christmas. There's too many people would suffer because of that, so that won't happen. But it should happen for the good of the game.
Groundswell of opinion towards that, Ed. I'm absolutely with you. And I think even referees would welcome, VAR being removed, because a lot of the time it just puts them in an impossible position as well. Go and enjoy yourself a sort of traditional Turkish bath, bit of Turkish delight, couple of kebabs, Ed. Have a great day.
İyi akşamlar.
Cheers.
Adrian, iyi akşamlar. Good evening.
Brilliant. Adrian Durham, live in Istanbul with our Turkish correspondent sitting next to me, Dean Saunders. So, you enjoy your time out there?
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, I was Galatasaray for a year. We won the cup final, if you remember, when Graham Souness stuck the flag in the ground.
Is that against Fenerbahce?
Fenerbahce. We beat them 1-0 in the first leg at our stadium, and it was 2 legs, and then we went to their stadium. They scored, so that it went to extra time. luckily I scored in the 118th minute, something like that, and then somebody chucked a flag over the ground. We beat them in their stadium, 60-odd thousand. Graham sticks the flag in the ground, runs past me on the way off. I went, all the best.
Yeah, well, you know, there were people with knives trying to climb over the fences to get to him.
He chinned somebody.
Whoa.
Honestly, he chinned someone on the way off, broke his wrist. He did, honestly. When I went in the dressing room, you know the ice buckets with the champagne? He had his hand in the ice bucket, broke his wrist. But, yeah, it was a great experience. And lovely people, actually.
Yeah. TalkSPORT Breakfast, by the way, comes direct from Istanbul tomorrow and Thursday with Ali McCoist and Gabby Agbonlahor. How come they get there?
Yeah, I don't know. Ali's everywhere, though, isn't he?
Yeah, I know.
Ali's commentating on Strictly Come Dancing now.
Remember, you can listen to tomorrow night's Europa League final between Villa and Freiburg live on TalkSPORT from 8. Commentary from Jim Proudfoot and the former Villa captain Andy Townsend. Lots to come this morning. Stuart Pearce with us later, Jamie O'Hara as well. Hull midfielder Matt Crooks ahead of Saturday's playoff final against Southampton. Well, that's how it stands at the moment anyway. And then back to Istanbul for a chat with freshly shaven Gabby Agbonlahor.
As we alluded to yesterday, Southampton are likely to face a sporting sanction if they're found guilty of spying charges. As a result, they could end up being thrown out of the playoff final to be replaced in that final by Middlesbrough instead, the team that they put out last night at the semi-final second leg stage. We said we'd look into this more thoroughly from a financial, legal expert point of view, and the very man who fits that bill is sitting to my right. Stefan Borsten joins us live in studio. And Stefan, good morning to you.
Hi.
We'll get into how this may or may not play out in the courts. Is there a precedent, Stefan, for chucking a team out of the playoffs?
Well, it happened to Swindon, but it was different. Well, not in terms of the playoffs, but in terms of sort of annulling the promotion. But it was a different situation. I mean, there's no situation where you've had it all come to a head within this small window around the playoffs. In terms of spying / espionage, there's really very few cases anywhere in football in respect of this. So you've got the Leeds situation that we know about, where it was systematic. They ended up with a £200,000 fine. And effectively, the other part of the sanction was to vote in favour of the rule that then came in. This rule that we're now talking about in terms of the 72-hour rule. That was part of the agreement on that. So that brought the rule in. The only other case is actually from the from the Olympics with Canada's women's team and FIFA in 2024.
It's Danny Dyer! Wig, not wig.
It's a nutty canister, either way. I mean, look at the nut.
Bob Odenkirk! Saul was great. He was just a breath of fresh air. Amelia Clark! Star Wars versus Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, definitely.
Go.
I'm loyal.
Don't tell Alex Hassel!
In season 2, a lot of us get our clothes off.
You do know you did that in season 1.
Exactly, that's true, yes.
Welshman, are you allowed to say that?
It's brilliant. It's not as good as our national anthem, the Welsh one, but it's second, in my opinion.
Oh.
So they play this.
You're missing something.
What, the English?
Yeah, you know, when you held out God Save the King, as it is now.
No, it's terrible, isn't it?
You can't say that about the national anthem.
It's terrible. It's not as good as the Scotland one.
Yeah.
And then they put I Will Walk 500 after it. That comes on. Stadium's bouncing.
This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling, and the man who wished he'd been a Scot by the sounds of it, Dean Saunders.
I'm supporting Scotland in the World Cup.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, and
Wales
England,
are not there.
obviously.
Well, I want England to do well for the sake of the Premier League, because we have got the best league, and I played in the Premier League. Although I'm Welsh, I earned my money in England, so I feel a bit of, not a lot of Welsh people would say that, by the way, but I want Scotland to do well. They got to draw or win the first game.
Well, Steve Clarke's World Cup squad is being named at midday. You'll find out all about it here on talkSPORT. Remember, you're taking your calls all morning on Pep's Exit, 03717 223344. We'll only fully appreciate him when he's gone. And who is the greatest of all time in terms of managers, in your view? I mean, there are obvious contenders, the likes of Alex Ferguson and Carlo Ancelotti, Bill Shankly, Bob Paisley, Brian Clough. There's another one for you. We've got Stuart Pearce coming on very shortly. I'll be asking him about that too. Right, let's get the latest odds with Coral and Simon Clare.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Simon, good morning. Happy boy this morning.
Morning, Simon.
Happy boy. I mean, I'm stressed. It was a tough watch again by Arsenal. They're not making it easy, are they, for the fans?
Burnley never looked like scoring, did they?
No.
Well,
Punchless.
they didn't. Look, I suppose as long as it's 1-0 in these games, you always know there's a chance of a mistake or a 25-yarder. And look, the red card incident, I think we all know. Look, I don't think it wasn't a particularly violent challenge, but I think on the balance of probabilities, that's usually a red card, isn't it? I mean, so. But look, we're through it. We're 1-6 favourites. Arsenal, I should say. I'm being neutral. Arsenal 4-1 Man City, and I think all eyes tonight on this Bournemouth game because they're a good side. They beat Arsenal at the Emirates. They've got a chance of catching Liverpool for 5th. They want to grab 6th to make sure of possibly Champions League football. They're 100-30 to win. 130 to draw. It's 4-6 City. I mean, guys, what are you expecting tonight?
Well, it's an incredible run Bournemouth are on. I think it's January the 2nd, the last time they lost, something like that. They haven't lost since Semenyo left.
And it's Andoni Iraola's last home game in charge, and they're tough to beat there, really. Yeah. I mean, they draw a lot of games, but then again, as far as Arsenal are concerned, if Bournemouth draw, that's good enough. Arsenal are champions.
That's it. I mean, and funny, during the commentary, they announced the news that the rumours were coming out that Pep Guardiola was leaving. And at first, it's funny, you thought, oh, this is what terrible timing. But then you flip. The flip is, and Dean is an ex-player. Is it clever timing to try and really galvanise City for that one last effort, to the players to leave him on a high, play for the new manager, maybe play for moves they might have their eyes on? Now Pep's gone. Do you think it was a clever move by releasing that news?
I don't think they released it. I think it's been leaked out.
Really?
I can't see the benefit because, to be honest with you, Simon, the players don't really care about you when you're the manager. No. They have a bit of respect for you, but they don't really care about the manager who's going out. They care more about who's coming in. I'll try and impress him, not the one that's going out. But it's going to be a tough game for Man City. But Bournemouth, they don't let you breathe. They won't let Man City walk into the half with the ball, just walk in. They'll be on top of them, and it's whether they leave gaps for Man City. But big game. But I think Arsenal have more or less done it, to be honest.
Oh, I'm very relieved to hear that. Look, the other thing is, the other nervousness, I suppose, if City get the result, is going into that final game, is given everything that's gone on with VAR, you just know that VAR will play some role in this title race if that happens, the way it did in Scotland. I really hope that doesn't come to pass.
Yeah, like last night, no red cards. Last night, the only way Burnley would have beat Arsenal last night is if Arsenal had a man sent off.
Which they should have done.
Yeah.
I mean, they should have done. Paul's texted me and said, you keep saying Burnley didn't look like scoring. Neither did Arsenal. And you are absolutely correct, Paul. You are absolutely...
but what was the score? 1-0 again. 1-0 again. It's not coincidence.
It's the George Graham legacy.
Bear in mind, of course, Man City as well, they played a cup final at the weekend. So
Yes,
they've got to come down from that as well. What about the other game tonight then at Stamford Bridge? The battle down at the bottom of the table. I'm taking it that Spurs are, well, first of all, long odds on to stay up now, are they?
They are. I mean, it's 1-20 West Ham to go down, and it's 9-1 Spurs. So really, in many ways, people feel that this is all over. But, I mean, Chelsea have a great record against Spurs. They still have a chance of European football, but they need to win tonight. And, to welcome Alonso in with European football this year, they're 10-11 to win it. It's 11-4 the draw, 3-1 Spurs. And of course, if Chelsea were to beat Spurs, then it does go down to that last game of the season. They're at home to Everton, Spurs. I think West Ham are at home to Leeds. It's not suddenly that 1-20, 9-1 will become shorter. It'll still be odds on West Ham, but a big game. And as I said, plenty for Chelsea to play for. A new manager coming in, players will want to impress him. Their last home game, so I think it's another fascinating game in the context of the table.
Simon, moving on to the Champions League final, where your team are in that one, and I'm the only one in the building that thinks Arsenal's going to win. What price are they?
Well, look, I think they're 6-5. It's 8-13 PSG. Arsenal just 6-4 to do the double. I mean, again, we sort of talk about the nervousness from last night, and I think I'm with you, Dino. I do think that if we win the title, it's a free roll then to almost.
You know what price the Dino thought they'd beat to beat PSG?
4-1.
4-1, 9-2.
No, it's 8-13, 6-5. Honestly, I'm sorry, Dino. Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, I think your view is right. It's a one-off. It's a one-off game. We've got a great defence. It's not. If it was a two-legged affair, I think Arsenal would be a much bigger price. But in a 90-minute,
my logic, Simon, on this is Dembele, Doué on the right, and they've got what's the lad from Georgia called? Jeff, you can pronounce his name.
I can't.
He's very
Kavalashvili,
yeah. The three of them are unbelievable players.
Yeah.
But I think Arsenal's defence can stop PSG scoring.
Yeah.
But PSG's defence can't stop Arsenal's front three scoring.
Yeah.
That's my outlook on it.
If Arsenal win it, it probably won't be one for the purists.
No. Well, if I was Arteta, I'd ruin the game. Just ruin the game, yeah. Make it a scrap.
I know. But listen, it feels a long way off. I think most Arsenal fans would if they had to pick between the two, I think they'd pick the Premier League title, and it's all about tonight and next Sunday, and then they know they've got that to look forward to, and they'd take what they get there. So I hope you're right, Dino. We'll do the double, but we'll see. Football is a funny way of throwing up even more surprises.
Yeah. Simon, just a quick one. Coral Racing Club runner today?
We do. It's a quiet day of racing, but the Coral Racing Club are free to join. Ownership Club has a runner at Nottingham, 4:20. It's a miserable day. I imagine it's raining up there. Catalyst for the Willie Muir, Chris Grassick team. She's a big price, 41. She was a bit disappointing last time, but I'm told she's fitter, better. I think they'll put some headgear on her blinkers, so we're expecting a much better run. So she may not win, but she might outrun her odds at 40-1.
40. Whoa, wow, big price. Simon, thank you very much indeed.
Cheers,
Thanks,
guys.
Simon.
Take care.
Quick text from Scott, who's a Spurs fan. He said, you mentioned Cloughie Jeff, who was brilliant. You also have to mention Shankly and Busby in that breath. And also from my club, the outstanding double-winning European conquering Bill Nicholson. Thank you very much indeed, Scott. That was a look at the latest odds with Coral 18+, gambleaware.org.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18+, gambleaware.org.
How much credit does Bruno Fernandes deserve? You're not a fan of this assist thing, are you? Now that he's equal Thierry Henry's record.
Well, no. I mean, Thierry got 20 assists and 24 goals.
We're just talking about assists.
No, but altogether, my thing with this, right, is fair play to him. He's equal to a very good record, and I've got no issue with that whatsoever. I'd like to see a little bit more emphasis on goals rather than a few goals and a whole load of assists.
I mean, not his job to score goals, but I hear you.
De Bruyne's got the same record, 13 goals.
Yeah, he's got 8.
So there's
we might score 6.
Numbers work, right?
Using my lines, you've learned very well. High five there, yeah, good work, man.
But no, listen, what he's done in a bad Manchester United period is phenomenal. Certainly this season with the assists, and it was funny because watching the game, there's so many times he got a shot and he opted to pass it because he's obviously desperate for his record.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I get it, but I can't remember when all of a sudden goals and assists became a thing. Certainly when I was playing in the Premier League, it was all about, if you're a striker, goals. And then if you're a creative midfield player, how many assists he got. All of a sudden now, and I think some players are getting away with it, with this goals and assists, because ultimately the name of the game is still to put the ball in the back of the net. But you're seeing some guys, they've got 17 goals and assists and they're forward. You go, well, how many goals they got? Well, they got, 4 goals and 13 assists. You're like, well, that's not any good.
Terrible, yeah.
That's terrible. Because they're putting our goals and assists together.
You're all right.
It's almost overshadowing everything.
Do you care about any stats? Like, you're a fan of XG. There's another one called XA.
Yeah.
Do you know what XA is?
Assists. Expected assists.
It's expected assist. Now, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know. I know about XG, but listen, I like XG, but I don't...
You can't explain it.
The only stats that I really...
care about?
Goals. I think assists to a certain level.
Clean sheets?
Yeah. I love touches in opposition box, because I think that tells you a lot about how a team's attacking. Because if... And I always like to compare the XG with touches inside the opposition box.
Always? You always like to do that?
Yeah, because if you're a team in certain games, you're getting 40 touches in the opposition box and there's no goals, what's going on?
Over the last few years, Formula One has gone from elitist and insular to a global entertainment brand. The transformation's down to American investment group Liberty Media, who cultivated a new image for the sport since buying it in 2016. Better access to drivers, improved content on social media, and tapping into the US market have given F1 a massive boost in both attention and revenues. But is everyone happy? The fans certainly are, as evidenced by Drive to Survive. Almost 7 million people per season have tuned in to get all the gossip and all the drama from the paddock. The extra exposure means the drivers can demand a higher salary too. In 2010, the top drivers were earning $20 million a year, which isn't bad. But now, the very best earn 3 times that, with Max Verstappen getting a whopping $65 million in 2025. But money doesn't always buy happiness. Some drivers, including Verstappen, don't like the pageantry the changes have brought about. In Las Vegas in 2023, Verstappen said the drivers were made to look like clowns, and the event was 99% performance and 1% race. Some purists who still watch the sport feel the same, and that the spirit of competition has suffered. But Formula One and Liberty Media don't look like slowing down anytime soon. So expect more races, major events and exclusive access in future.
Get ready to get the ultimate football fan winning feeling with talkSPORT Win.
Yeah, good morning. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Dean Saunders and Arnold Clark. Shop the upgrade event today. Get an extra £500 when you part exchange your car. Don't miss your chance to boost your valuation. Now, courtesy of Adidas, the tournament's official match ball supplier, we're giving away a trip to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. You and a mate could be heading to Dallas to see England against Croatia live on June the 17th with flights, hotels, spending money, tickets and the official Trionda match ball all included. Head to talksportwin.com to enter for full T and C's. Just got a text from Mick in Southport who says, as an Evertonian, it pains me to say, the greatest manager of all time has to be Bill Shankly. He built not just a team, he built a football club with great pedigree. And he asks, who would you say is this season's manager of the year? I've loved the job that David Moyes has done, but for me it must be Michael Carrick. He's put life and fire back into the Manchester United Red Dragon. Mick, thank you very much indeed for that. I think if Arsenal win the league, for me it's going to be Arteta.
I can't agree with Mick there. I think the Bournemouth manager's done enough. If he gets them into Europe, if Unai Emery wins the European trophy, first time for 44 years, and Arteta wins the league, be hard not to give it to Arteta if he wins the league.
What about if Andoni Iraola has Bournemouth in a Champions League spot?
He's got to be up there with, bearing in mind he's sold his whole back four and he's managed to find a way. And it's Bournemouth, you know, they're not supposed to be doing this well.
No.
And if you looked at the wage bill league table, which most of the time it makes sense, the league, like Man City, have got the biggest wage bill, and then the top six are the top six. Then you've got the Villa, Spurs, and then you start going down, and then the teams who are liable to get relegated are like a quarter of what the big teams have got. He's got about a quarter to spend than all the top six.
Yeah.
If he gets them into Europe, he's going to get a big job, isn't he?
I think you've got to give an honourable mention as well, especially if he gets into Europe. It's not impossible to Regis Labrie at Sunderland.
Yes.
Wow. I mean, everybody thought they were nailed on to go down, and there they are, you know, chance of a European finish.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And they weren't in a nervous relegation battle after 10 games. They had enough points.
Yeah.
You know, to get more or less away from it. But I'd give it, if Arteta wins the league, if he wins the Champions League, definitely.
That's usually the way it works, whoever wins the league. But if he wins the Champions League, yeah, he's a certainty. I think if they win the league, I think he's nailed on anyway. But look, we talked about Andoni Iraola. Let's talk about Bournemouth, shall we? Man City travelling to the South Coast. Bournemouth have eyes on Champions League football. Can't believe I'm saying that. This is Bournemouth. Wow. Anything less than a win for City tonight would end their hope of a final title for Pep. For more on this, I'm delighted to say we're joined by former Premier League winner with Chelsea and ex-Bournemouth goalkeeper Asmir Begovic. Morning, Asmir.
Morning, Asmir.
Morning, gentlemen. Morning.
Asmir, look, Marco Rose is going to come in to take over for Andoni Iraola. Wow, this is a hard act to follow, isn't it?
It's an incredible act to follow. As you mentioned earlier, Bournemouth could be in the Champions League. You know, it's not something I would have ever imagined happening. Or so soon anyway. So I think Andoni Iraola has done an incredible job, but Marco Rose is definitely a manager with a really good pedigree. The work he's done over with Leipzig in the Bundesliga and the players he's developed. I think he's ready for the challenge, but it's definitely big shoes to fill.
Yeah, and he's lost his whole back four, hasn't he? And somehow managed to bring players in. And Bournemouth seem to have I don't know about you, Jeff, a player comes on the pitch and I've gone, who's this? Never heard of this one. And they seem that they've got their recruitment right. But if I'm not correct, Bournemouth are trying to stay up. That's the target every year. Stay in the league and maybe get in the top half. But this is just unbelievable.
I couldn't agree more, Dean. I think every team, I think as soon as any club gets too ahead of themselves and starts staying in the league for granted, I think you're in a lot of trouble. So I think from that aspect, that always has to be the first aim. But I think since the new ownership's come in, Andoni Iraola's come in, the whole club being aligned, I think that's really key. I think the whole club's aligned from top to bottom, and obviously they're pushing in the same direction, and that's what's given them the success. And I almost think Andoni Iraola, as you almost thought that he's achieved even in his 3 years, he's done everything he could and taken the club as far as he can, and maybe that's why he's looking for a new challenge. But credit to everyone involved, because I don't think as much as it's the manager, I think everyone behind the scenes and the players that brought in the profiles, everyone's been on the same page.
Yeah, no, you completely agree with that. But you look at his record there, though. He's beaten all the big boys. He's beaten Arsenal, actually 2 seasons in a row. Beaten Liverpool, Newcastle, Man City, Man United. Do you think some of the big clubs around Europe would be looking at Andoni now?
Well, they have to. I think they have to, and I think he's ready for that challenge. And I think his stock is so high that if you don't take advantage of it, you never know what's going to happen next year in football. Maybe certain things are not going to go your way. So I think his stock is incredibly high. I think he's going to have options. it'll depend on what he's looking to do, what he's looking to stay in England. Does he maybe want to live in a city like London? What does his family want? So I think there's a lot of different factors into it. But in terms of his stock and the options that he will have, I don't think it gets much better than this summer.
And tonight's a massive game. How do you see the game going tonight?
Well, I can definitely see Bournemouth getting a result. I wouldn't rule it out one bit. I know Man City are fighting for the league, and they're pushing really, really hard. And this is exactly as we've seen historically with Pep when they hit form and they hit their stride. But I think I could see the title race being over tonight. I really, I could see Bournemouth getting a result. They're playing full of confidence. So many players on top of their game. It's their last home game of the season as well, so they're going to be pushing really hard. So I think for them, it's going to be a really big occasion tonight. So I could definitely see Man City dropping points.
Another big game tonight that you'll be interested in as well, of course, because Chelsea take on Spurs. And I know you've played in that one yourself, so could be a bit tasty.
Well, yeah. I played in the famous Battle of the Bridge, which is a very, very tasty game. So I know how hostile it can be. It's actually a big occasion for the Chelsea players tonight. It's almost a way of saving their season. It could almost, in a way, save their season just by putting Tottenham in a lot more trouble. But big game for both teams. I almost feel like Spurs have been given such a massive opportunity to stay up and make sure they secure their status in the Premier League that I feel like they're going to take advantage of that. But it's a game that can definitely go either way.
Asmir, great of you to join us. Great to see you. Where are you speaking to us from?
I'm actually in my local coffee shop. So I'm going to enjoy a nice little espresso after this.
Oh, very envious. Asmir, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, gents.
Brilliant. Asmir Begovic, the former Premier League and FA Cup winning goalkeeper.
I was going to ask him, has he ever lost this fixture?
Yeah.
Chelsea, Spurs.
Yeah, well,
has he ever been on the losing team?
I don't think he will have been, will he? I think it's now Tottenham have won their once, I think, in 42 in all competitions over the years. And Niall says, morning guys, remember there are 6 Champions League spots this year, so not as impressive as usual getting qualification. Fair play to Bournemouth though. Now there are only six spots if Aston Villa win the Europa League and finish in 5th place. If they win the Europa League and finish in 4th place, there are only 5 spots. I know it's insane, but that's the way it works out. So there could be 6, there could be 5. If you have an early night, you're just waking up, Pep Guardiola's leaving Man City. Looks like Enzo Maresca's going to be taking over. Let's have a quick call, shall we? Josh is a Liverpool fan, wants to talk about Pep. Morning, Josh.
Morning, Josh.
Good morning, boys. You okay?
Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. What's your thought on this?
Well, I see, as you can see, I'm a Liverpool fan. It is a really sad day, in my view. Obviously, watching Pep from the Barca teams to, Bayern and then, to now, Man City. People are moaning and complaining. I don't get it. I mean, yes, he's had a budget, a bigger budget than everyone, but that's what you get when you're a top manager. You go to these big clubs who have the more money, and that's how life works, wherever, whatever you do. The best.
Look, we lost him there. I was going to
in full flow.
Say to him,
Josh, you're breaking up, mate. So sorry about that, but we
can you hear us now, Josh?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, go on quickly. Yeah.
I say that's what happens when you get a budget for.
Josh, we're going to have to call it a day. We can't hear you, mate. Sorry about that, but. Look, he's a quality manager. I think even Josh, a Liverpool fan, can appreciate that. That's what he's sort of said.
Jeff, they're different animals. The players he's coaching, I don't know how to describe it really. The top players are different animals than the ordinary Premier League players. You have to treat them differently. They're like racehorses that run at Ascot, and there's racehorses that run at Southall on a Tuesday night. They probably have to treat them a little bit differently. But they're highly strung and they're at the top of their game for a reason. He's managed to control billionaires. But there's like 35 billionaires, not billionaires, millionaires, multi-millionaires in the dressing room. They could just tell you to get lost, but he's kept them on side.
Yeah. Look, I mean, he is. He came as a legend, and he will leave as an even greater legend if that is at all possible. Right, still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Benchmarks Kitchens and Joinery. Get trade prices on kitchens to suit all styles and budgets at Benchmarks.
Now, last week we wondered if Gabi Agbonoho would return from Istanbul with a hair transplant or maybe a flash new set of teeth. Instead, he's opted for the traditional Turkish haircut. That wouldn't have taken long. If you're watching on YouTube right now, you'll be able to see some of the unique treatments available out in Istanbul that Gabi has been indulging in. And in around an hour's time, the man himself will be live with us from Istanbul to look ahead to Villa taking on Freiburg in tomorrow's Europa League final, which of course is live on talkSPORT. 03717 223344 is the number. Give us a call. That was our breakfast preview with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. With pay-as-you-go hire from Travis Perkins, you can get straight on with the job. Available nationwide at all hire branches.
Morning, Sir Rod.
Morning, Ray. Morning, Jeff. How are you guys?
Yeah, really good, thanks, mate. But probably not as good as you. What was the feeling then? Was it joy? Was it relief? What was it?
It was joy. It was mixed emotions right now because I'm just really let down by some of our supporters, coming on a pitch and starting fights and all that. It's just took the gloss off the whole day. And my heart goes out to the Jambos. It's just awful what's happened to them. But, we won 9 games on the trot and we're the champions.
Yes. Rod, I've got to say, I mean, you've never had so many English people down here looking at the Premier League and looking at the north of the border saying, what a running it has been. And I'm sure that you've had so much spotlight on the Premiership now, the Scottish Premiership, because of Hearts. Because it's usually Rangers or Celtic run away with it.
Yeah,
and it's made it so much better league, isn't it, by having someone else
absolutely
involved.
Yeah. Good luck to Hearts next year. They've got money to spend, apparently, and I'd like to see them up there again. Because of that simple reason, it does make it a competition. It really does. But there's one thing I have to say. Both Rangers and Celtic, because of Russell Martin and this guy Nuts who took over, they dropped so many points. I think if those two hadn't come along, it may have been a different story. No disrespect to Hearts, but we'll see next year.
Rod, Martin O'Neill, obviously, a legend.
Martin O'Neill!
Done a brilliant job. He says he feels rejuvenated. Would you like to see him? I think I know the answer to this. Would you like to see him stay on?
Yeah, of course I would. It entirely is up to him. If he's healthy enough to do it, and I'm 81, I'm still doing what I'm doing, I'm sure he could do it. The fans, and most of all the players, adore him.
Not wig.
It's a nutty canister, either way. I mean, look at the nut.
Bob Odenkirk! Saul was great. He was just a breath of fresh air. Amelia Clark!
Star Wars versus Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, definitely.
Go.
I'm loyal.
Don't tell Alex Hassel!
In season 2, a lot of us get our clothes off.
You do know you did that in season 1.
Exactly, that's true, yeah. Sorry.
Good morning, 10 minutes away from 9 o'clock. It's Tuesday morning, May the 19th. This is Talk Sport Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling and Dean Saunders. Headlines this morning. A decision is expected today on Southampton's punishment for those spying charges as an independent disciplinary commission meets to release the verdict. Remember, the playoff final should be Hull City against Southampton, but Middlesbrough are fighting hard to stay in this, is on Saturday. It'll be live on Talk Sport. Now, we'll be joined in around half an hour by Hull midfielder Matt Crooks. It's Hull I feel sorry for in this. They don't know who they're going to be playing. We'll have to assume it's going to be Southampton, I would reckon. Neymar's been included in Brazil's squad for this summer's World Cup, despite playing only 686 minutes in a Brazilian top flight this season. How many games is that?
Can't believe João Pedro's not in there, Jeff.
Me neither.
João Pedro, the Chelsea fans must be amazed.
You know, the thing is, though, that João Pedro's played even fewer minutes in the Brazilian top flight this season. So, and Roberto De Zerbi takes charge of his first London derby tonight. Spurs head to Stamford Bridge. Speaking ahead of the game, De Zerbi's claimed that literally everyone outside of North London is actually praying for Spurs relegation.
I think that the pride is amazing, no? It's amazing motivation, the pride. Because if everyone wants Tottenham relegated, I think one Tottenham player, one Tottenham fan, all the people who work inside of the Tottenham has to be a big motivation, the biggest motivation.
Well, Roberto De Zerbi, but that's clearly intended just to sort of inspire some sort of siege mentality. Yeah. I don't believe for a moment that everyone in the country wants Spurs to be relegated. Joining us now to preview the case, one man who certainly doesn't want Spurs to be relegated, it's Jamie O'Hara, who's doing a watch-along tonight with Jason Cundy. Morning, Jamie.
Jamie. Morning, Jeff. Morning, Dino. How are we, guys? I'm stuck in traffic on the M25. It's raining. This is not a good start to the day when I need it to be a special one for Spurs.
Yeah.
It's an absolute nightmare right here.
Oh, well, it always is, isn't it? M25, this time in the morning, bad weather, and you're absolutely...
By the way,
up the creek without a paddle.
Are you in your car, driving?
Yeah, I'm pulled over.
Have a bit of respect for talkSPORT.
Hey?
Have a bit of respect for talkSPORT.
Hey, Jamie, you're not allowed to pull over on the motorway. You can't pull over on the M25.
I'm in the service station, Jeff.
All right.
I'm on the way to Sky, so it's all right.
What, you having a full English again?
Hey, Jamie, seriously speaking, are you worried that Chelsea have chosen the last couple of days to announce they're going to have a new manager?
Yeah, I mean, look, Jeff, that don't help, right? Because they have been poor this season, and me and Jace have been discussing it a lot about everyone saying that Spurs could get relegated at Stamford Bridge, but you know, Jace was kind of saying that Chelsea could keep us up. Yeah, and I still believe that is the case. I think we can go there and get a point. I don't believe we'll win the game. We never get anything at Stamford Bridge, but them getting Alonso in. You know, it's that new manager bounce. Even though he's not there, it's the players have got to play for something. They've got to show some kind of pride, and they're playing for their futures. He'll be watching Alonso. I don't know if he's going to be there, but you know, he's going to be watching the game. So it's a massive moment for Chelsea players and their futures. And I just hope we haven't caught Chelsea at the wrong time. We caught Villa at the right time. I don't know if we're going to catch Chelsea at the wrong time now. It's one of them. Hopefully not, but I believe we can get something, Jeff. I do. I believe we can get something.
Jamie, on De Zerbi, Jamie, right? He's obviously come in. He got some results. Is it noticeable that some of the players have reacted to the way he does things?
Have we lost him?
He's not pulled over, see?
Sorry, Dean. I lost you. It's the rain. Say that again. Sorry, go on.
So De Zerbi's gone in there. Is it noticeable that the players have reacted to the way he does things?
Yeah, you can see that. You can see in his interviews, you can see the way he is with the players, the way he talks about the players. You know, he's making them. He's trying to make them feel like they're top players when some of them have been absolutely garbage this season, and he'll probably get rid of them in the summer. But there's no point digging them out now. Igor Tudor come in and was digging everyone out. He was so negative, and then you know what do you expect from the players?
Yeah.
Roberto De Zerbi's come in. There's positive attitude. The performances have been better. We're still not great. I mean, the performance against Leeds was average, really average. We played well against Villa. We were poor against Wolves, but we won. So it hasn't, you know, we're not all of a sudden turned a massive corner. He's just instilled a little bit more confidence in them, a bit more belief, and we're a bit more organised. We're still crap.
And West Ham have helped you as well.
Yeah. Hey, Jamie, your goalkeeper's probably going to need a big night tonight. And I'll tell you what, Kinski, he's done really well the last few games.
He has, Jeff. He has. I've been surprised, actually, how good he's been. And considering what happened to him at Atletico Madrid, where, you know, you thought that was him finished, you know, fair play to him, decent bit of character to come back from that. And actually, he looks way better than Vicario. He's good with his feet. His distribution's, like, really good. And he's pulled off some mega saves. The save against Leeds to keep it at 2-2 is probably one of the saves of the season. If not the save of the season. And that might prove to be one of the biggest points that we'll ever get in the Premier League.
And Jamie, tonight we can on talkSPORT. There's a watch along. You and Jason watching the game. We can tune. I'm going to tune into that one. But like Jason's hair, what's going on with his hair? Has it not took? I see Rory Jennings dug him out the other day for having a hair transplant.
Remarks about Cundy's hairline, though, it's nearly as bad as Chelsea this season. That hairline, I've got it sorted for him, and he went out and he hardly.
See what I mean?
Yeah, look, Jamie, we're going to lose you now. Look, this is...
It's total lack of discipline. Again, Jamie, like we've seen on the pitch when I was your manager. You know, you've tried to cut corners again. You've pulled into the services just to get a full English, and the line's gone.
It promises to be car crash viewing tonight. We don't want car crash now either. Jamie, thanks very much, mate.
Thanks, Jamie.
Don't miss the sports spa. Don't worry, mate. Don't miss the watch along tonight then. Jamie O'Hara, Jason Cuddy live on the talkSPORT YouTube channel. You won't miss a second of the boys' live reaction and the carnage that will probably follow as well. So Spurs at Chelsea tonight. The watch along live on talkSPORT YouTube channel from 7. And they'll take your calls on the sports bar after the final whistling. Arsenal fans, you could be celebrating a title win. Up next, former Man City boss Stuart Pearce tells us whether Pep's exit will see the end of their dominance. James Corden is with us in the studio.
Good morning.
Good morning, mate.
Good morning,
I'm
James.
so happy to be here.
It's our pleasure. How are you?
I'm really well. Yeah, I'm very good.
Thank you for coming in.
It's a pleasure.
It's lovely. We've got so much to talk to you about.
For sure.
Before we talk about football, right?
Yes.
I was just going over old stuff that you've done, right?
Mm.
And I was watching with my producer Ollie this morning when you did the Sports Personality of the Year. I think it was 09, 07, I can't remember. It was nearly 20 years ago. And you stood up in front of everyone, right?
Yes.
You gave, as Smithy, you gave this massive speech.
Smithy won Coach of the Year.
And I said to the producer, he's got a good memory, right? How nerve-wracking must that have been for you? Was that just insane? Did you have autocue now? Or was that...
Well, yeah, no, there was a prompter, but the issue was with that is we shot that 8 minutes before they went live for Sports Personality, so we only had one. We could only do it once.
Yeah.
From the standing up in the crowd, the walking through, doing all the stuff. So also, we had to make sure that lots of people were in the audience because as Sports Personality, they all wait in this room before they go out, and we had to go up to like Freddie Flintoff, and what we had to say to him, we had to go, Freddie,
Freddie, we're going to do this thing. Don't laugh along.
Okay.
Because it can't look like it's like a sort of roast monologue.
Yeah.
Which is why Freddie's such a brilliant actor, looks so angry in that we just like make out like it's real. Don't just laugh along when we start saying all these things to different people. And the only instruction I was given was you can't interact with Capello, because they were like, you're not allowed to interact with Capello.
From the Toffees to the Tractor Boys, the Eagles to the Seagulls, Gunners, Bees, Hammers and Magpies, Premier League teams have got a load of crazy nicknames. Ever wondered where they came from? Let's start with Everton. They're dubbed the Toffees, but why? Well, because when the club was formed, just down the road there were two local toffee shops. Ye Ancient Everton Toffee House and Mother Noblet's Toffee Shop were big fan favourites. Next, they say if you can't beat 'em, join 'em, and that's exactly what Ipswich Town did when it came to their nickname. The term Tractor Boys used to be chanted by their opponents as a way of putting the team down for their farming background. But during one game back in the late 90s, Ipswich were 1-0 up and they decided to flip the script. 1-0 to the Tractor Boys, they sang, and a new nickname was born. Let's head to Leicester, famous for more than just a red, orangey cheese and Jamie Vardy. Leicestershire's also the birthplace of fox hunting, hence the Foxes. Next up, turns out apples are not the only fruit that don't fall far from the tree. Bournemouth's nickname, the Cherries, comes from the fact the club's stadium was originally built right next to a bunch of cherry orchards. This next story actually involves two club nicknames. It started with Crystal Palace. They were having an absolute nightmare run back in the early 70s. They'd been relegated after a terrible spell and manager Malcolm Allison decided enough was enough. He wanted a new nickname, something strong, fast and destined for success. Something exactly like an eagle. But there's more to this one. Brighton were in search of a nickname too, and Palace finally gave them what they needed. In a heated match between the two back in 1976, Palace fans began chanting, "Eagles, Eagles," and some clever Brighton fans came up with the perfect reply, "Seagulls, Seagulls." Not all club nicknames have a crazy story though. Take the Gunners. That just comes from the fact a group of munitions workers in the Royal Arsenal factory in Woolwich set up the club in 1886. On the flip side, some nicknames seem simple, but there's a bit more to them, like West Ham. The Hammers is actually nothing to do with the ham part of the name. It comes from the fact the club used to be called Thames Ironworks FC and was made up of workmen and shipbuilders. So next time the away end's chanting their crazy nickname, you'll now know exactly where it came from.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Dean Saunders, and Arnold Clark. Buy a used car and get a free 2-year service plan plus an extra £500 when you part exchange. Shop the upgrade event today. Still to come before 10, a Hull preparing for two possible playoff final opponents. We'll ask their midfielder Matt Crooks exactly that in around 10 minutes' time, and we'll head back to Istanbul and speak to Gabi Agbonlahor. Is he beginning to get nervous yet? Poor bloke, the poor reporter at Sky Sports News is still standing outside the Etihad Stadium.
Imagine Pep comes out and says, "False alarm, I've changed my mind."
Well, he'd be ecstatic, wouldn't he, just to see anybody, today. Especially as they're all in Bournemouth.
Yeah.
So it's an absolute pointless exercise.
Have you ever done that, Jeff? Outside the ground one?
No. Definitely not. We heard Roberto De Zerbi saying everyone wants Spurs to go down. Steve in Norwich agrees with him. He said, I'm a Norwich City supporter. He said, I'd rather go to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium next season than the Olympic Stadium. Even the West Ham fans don't want to go there. Fair point. In fact, Steve, they get 62,000, at that Olympic Stadium. It's absolutely incredible.
Did I read somewhere that if they get relegated, they're going to have to pay half of the £4.5 million rent?
Don't know.
Was that correct? I'll check with Sim, but I think the taxpayers have to pay the rent if West Ham go down.
Yeah.
They're not paying the 4.5.
It's going to be interesting to see, isn't it? What sort of crowds they get if they're in the Championship. And I know a lot of, West Ham got big support, so there'll be plenty there. But, some of the opposition sides won't bring support in the same numbers as they do now.
Remember, like a couple of years ago, David Moyes left, and be careful what you wish for.
Oh, yeah.
Look what's happened.
Yeah. And if they go down, the same would apply to Tottenham, I assume. Your better players go. Your better players go. So, Somerville, maybe Jared Bowen would be going. Mateus Fernandes, I think, would certainly believe in. Diouf, who's had a pretty good season. Disasi, who's been a bit of a revelation since he came from Chelsea. Don't see any of them.
He wasn't at Newcastle, by the way. He was all over the place.
Yeah, he was, but I think generally speaking, he's been... I don't see any of them playing in the Championship, to be truthful, for West Ham. And, of course, I think pretty much everybody at West Ham has got written in their contract that if they get relegated, they take a 50% pay cut.
While we're on the subject, what about that handball, Souček?
I thought you were going to talk about a 50% pay cut then, something I hadn't heard about.
Not West Ham. Souček's handball. Did you see it?
Yeah. Yes.
How's that not a penalty? It's another one.
Yeah. Don't know.
Anyway.
Okay, now while Arsenal were extending the lead to 5 points at the top of the table last night, reports emerged from Manchester City that Pep is leaving at the end of the season.
Manchester City are changing manager in the summer. We understand that Pep Guardiola will leave and that Enzo Maresca will take over.
I don't know whether we truly appreciate him right here, right now. Pep's going to go down as probably the best manager this country ever seen.
If I was the owners, the first person I would ask about appointing the next manager would be Pep Guardiola and say, what do you think? Who do you think should take over from you?
He's got to be an outstanding manager to work with these players at such high calibre. But again, how much money has a man spent on players?
Nobody ever mentions Wenger. I know Pep's done this and that, but he's also done it with the 115 charges.
He's an absolute legend. He has given every single Man City fan, including me, because I was going in the 70s, every single dream we thought we would want.
Yeah, after 10 years and 20 trophies, Pep Guardiola set to leave Man City after Sunday's final game of the season at home to Aston Villa. Delighted to say former Manchester City captain and manager Stuart Pearce joins us now. Morning, Stu.
Morning, gents. Morning.
Stu, look, you played with some great managers in your time yourself. So where does Pep rank? Is he the greatest of all time?
I think it's fair to say there's a good argument that he probably is, to be honest with you. I mean, Alex has been brilliant over time, and Arsene Wenger changed the culture a little bit in football when he come, and there's other names you can throw in the hat, Cloughie as well, who Dino knows well, but you've got to say he would stack up in an argument with the best. There's no doubt about that. And I remember one night I come out of the City of Manchester Stadium, and in all honesty, I saw a brand of football that I'd never seen in the whole of my life, and that takes some doing. And he's changed the culture of football, and everyone copied his style for a long, long time. And listen, the trophies speak for themselves.
Stu, I think when he was at Barcelona, he had a trial run there on the Total Football. You remember he put Mascherano at centre half, 5'6". We're all going like, how can he do that and win the league with a 5'6" centre half? And they had Messi, Xavi, Iniesta in midfield, and they just played total football. And then he took it to Man City with him, didn't he? And the midfield players he signed were all capable of doing that. De Bruyne, Toure, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva. It was a brand of football we hadn't seen before.
Exactly that. As I say, he done things that we didn't think were possible. Played a style of play that wowed us. And you know what? Every time a manager that's been at a football club for a long time and created sort of history for that club, even though I'm not a fan of the clubs, maybe in Klopp's case at Liverpool and the like, I find it quite sad when they leave. You know, football's so transient these days that when these managers and these cult heroes like Pep's going to in the summer leave, I think it's quite sad and worrying for Manchester City as well, I would say.
Yeah. Pep always liked to do things a bit differently. Ever from when he moved Philip Lahm into midfield from full-back when he was at Bayern, remember that? What about Enzo Maresca? Does that surprise you at all?
Well, he knows the club. I think if he hadn't been inside the club before, I would have answered yes to that question. The fact that he's been inside the club, obviously the owners all know him, and a recommendation maybe from Pep to suggest that he could be my successor. He would be the one I would ask, definitely. I heard you play the clip there. Pep would have been probably the first one I would ask and say, who do you think should take over from you?
Stu, where do you think he's going to go, Pep, now? Do you think he's going to go into national management, or do you think he's going to go and take over another massive club?
You know what, Dino? I think in the intensity that he works, we see that every day, don't we? You know, every time he does an interview, he's on the touchline. The intensity is written all over his face that he works. I think it wouldn't surprise me if he took a year or two out, honestly, because football management's like that nowadays. You're literally driving yourself. If you want to be successful in this job, you've got to drive yourself 24 hours and drive a dressing room and the people above you. It wears you out eventually. And I think he might quite enjoy a break away from football before he dips back in somewhere. And I don't know where would be. I think international football would, which I've done to a certain element, is quite nice because you can breathe in between games. But he strikes me as the manager that wants full contact every day with the players when he's working in a job.
Do you see, Stuart, with Pep leaving Manchester City and Liverpool in let's say a transitional period at the moment, do you see this as possibly the start of a period of Arsenal domination?
Well, put it this way, I think they're in a very strong position. I think they'll get their hands on the Premier League this year. I think whether they get Champions League football as well, win the trophy on that, if they strengthen to what they've got a very strong squad at the moment. I see no reason why not. I would make them favourites again next year, solely on the back of Pep leaving Man City.
Yeah, and you look at the contenders, Chelsea are in a bit of a mess at the minute. Man United are rebuilding. Aston Villa can't spend any money. Newcastle can't spend any money as much as they would like to compete. Liverpool are in a bit of a mess, aren't they? So I think Arteta's the most stable manager at the moment, Stuart. I think they're going to do it, don't you?
Yeah, the stability of management is so important to all these clubs. You know, we see so many turnovers of managers at one individual club. You know, you would have thought it'd be impossible, Dino, in our time. You turn 4 managers over in a season. You would say that's crazy, you know. But the stability that Arsenal are showing at this moment in time, I was in the stadium yesterday, the unity of the fans driving the team on. Yeah, there was a couple of fans getting a little bit nervous and tetchy on occasion, but in the main, they're a pretty united group there with all the players signing new contracts and going in the right direction together.
Stuart, thanks very much indeed, mate.
Thanks, Stuart.
Pleasure, gents. Have a good day.
You too, mate.
Stuart, what a player.
Oh,
They'd have to change the laws, though, for Stuart now.
Yeah, well, he wouldn't stay on the field for very long,
his first thought was, right, how far can I chip the winger into the stand? Which row can I get him into?
Yeah.
So he used to say to Ian Wone, don't cut the pass off. Let the winger have it. And I'll chip him into the crowd and then see if he wants to take me on.
he tells a story about how he was playing under Brian Clough at Forest, and they're playing Leicester in a cup game. And it was his debut, I think. No, maybe not his debut, but playing Leicester in a cup game, and he gets booked in the first half. And at half-time, Cloughy said, look, young man, you be really careful in the second half. The last thing we can afford is for you to be sent off 2 minutes into the second half. Red card.
Did you hear the one about Cloughy went to meet, I think it was Terry Wilson. He went to meet him to sign him, and he turned up at the hotel, and Terry Wilson's dad was with him. And he leans across the table to Terry Wilson. He went, young man, before we start, tell your dad to take his earrings out. His dad had 2 earrings in, and while you're there, he went, "Take yours out, son."
By the way, Stuart, the impression he was a dirty player. He's hard.
Great player.
But, over 1,000 appearances, he got 5 red cards is an entire career. So
he used to get the early one in, no, Jeff. You didn't get it. He scored ref, first one.
Yeah.
First one. But great left foot.
Yeah.
And he used to drive the team on his own.
Yeah.
Like you say, Ron Atkinson's saying was all the time was, who's driving the bus? Who is driving the bus? We've got loads of passengers. Who's driving the bus? What he meant was, who's going to grab the game by the scruff of the neck?
Yeah.
And Stuart Pearce could do it from left back. He'd start driving forward, going into tackles, crossing the ball, shooting. Winner.
Yeah. I'm driving this bus and we're late. Coming next, find out whether Hull are preparing for not one but 2 different opponents. Four-year deal for Xabi Alonso as a manager. Wanted to be the manager because he wants more control. How much control do you think he'll have?
Well, certainly more than his predecessors, Liam Rosenior in particular. And obviously, as you mentioned there, Enzo Maresca was very frustrated by the end of his tenure because he had a doctor sat on the bench telling him exactly how many minutes his players could play. I don't see that being repeated under Xabi Alonso. And you're right to highlight the fact that he has been given the title of manager as opposed to head coach. That suggests that the owners are willing to hand over more control, have learned from their mistakes. In fact, speaking of sources at Stamford Bridge, they know this season has been a poor one. They said after they got rid of Liam Rosenior so quickly, having appointed him, that they would do a bit of soul searching. There would be a period of reflection. And they're describing this to me as the next stage in Chelsea's evolution by, instead of appointing a rookie manager like Liam, who was going to learn on the job, who was probably always going to struggle to command the respect of what is quite a difficult dressing room to control, they've now decided to hire someone who's been there, got the T-shirt, not just as a player, but as a manager as well, with that incredible invincible season at Bayer Leverkusen. Even Alonso's record at Real Madrid is not terrible, So I think instantly he'll command the respect of that dressing room because of what he does as a player, because of what he's already achieved in management. They're going to task him with building a culture befitting of a club like Chelsea. And it was quite clear in the statement when they announced him yesterday, they want to be challenging for the top honours, and they see this as the first step in that direction. How much control will he have? Well, certainly he's going to have a bigger input in transfer decisions than the likes of Rosenior and Maresca.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. The model of Chelsea, will they change that as well? Because it doesn't seem to be working, what they're trying to achieve.
It's Danny Dyer! Wig, not wig.
It's a nutty canister, either way. I mean, look at the nut on it.
Bob Odenkirk! Saul was great. He was just a breath of fresh air. Amelia Clark! Star Wars versus Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, definitely.
I'm
loyal.
Don't tell Alex Hassel!
In season 2, a lot of us get our clothes off.
You do know you did that in season 1?
Exactly, that's true, yes.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Dean Saunders, 9:20. Tuesday, May the 19th. Let's get an EFL update now, all thanks to McDonald's.
EFLers on talkSPORT with McDonald's. Got big McDonald's hunger? Order delivery on the McDonald's app today. From 11 a.m, 18 plus, fees apply to delivery orders, subject to availability, price may vary.
Now Hull City are heading to Wembley for the Championship playoff final. That's one thing we are sure of. They're just 90 minutes potentially away from a return to the Premier League. Let's relive their journey to get to Wembley. It was live on talkSPORT.
It's Balumi. Oh, what a goal! And the travelling Tigers go absolutely wild. He's played it back instead for Joe Gelhardt. Oh, through Patterson and in. And that 7 minutes is now up. And it's the end of Millwall's season. Hull have made it through.
I think that we were today tactically excellent, that players put everything on the pitch.
We've not been fancied all season. We weren't fancied to get to the playoffs. We weren't fancied tonight. We were fancied on Friday, and we've shot a few people up, and now on to Wembley.
But the chaos hanging over the playoff final is such that Hull don't know who they're playing yet. Today, the EFL is set to rule on what punishment Southampton should suffer for spying on Middlesbrough's training sessions before their semi-final, which, of course, Saints came through on aggregate. Joining us now to look ahead to what will be a huge Championship playoff final, whoever they're playing, for Hull City, is their midfielder, Matt Crooks. Morning, Matt.
Morning, Matt.
Morning, you all right?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. Look, before we talk about the playoff final, it is National Epilepsy Week. And the reason I mention that is that you are a footballer who has epilepsy. Now, I don't think a lot of people, me included, by the way, really understand epilepsy. As a player, how has it affected you?
Over the course of my career, I've had a few. It was more when I was younger, 19, 20, 21, getting to grips with it. I had probably 10 to 15 seizures in that period, trial and error with different medications, different dosages. Luckily enough with football, you kind of get the best treatment, so I've been lucky in that regard.
Matt, can you feel it coming on, Matt?
No. So I'll be there with you 1 minute, and the next minute I'm having a seizure. Yeah. So I think some people have these things called auras, but I don't get that feeling.
Yeah. Did you think it would prevent you from being a footballer?
No, I don't think so. I was pretty young at the time, 19, 20, probably a bit blasé about the whole thing. It wasn't until I had children myself, kind of maybe took it a little bit more seriously, realising when I learnt more about the condition, realising how serious it was.
Yeah.
But no, I've always kind of had the support of all the clubs that I've been at, which has been really good. And yeah, like I say, I've been all right.
And obviously covering the ground and everything, and your physical output. Does it affect that in any way?
No. I mean, it depends who you ask. But I don't think so.
That's a big pitch at Wembley.
I've been grand. Like I've been okay. Like I say, as long as I take medication, I'm fortunate enough to have it controlled. Some people they don't have it controlled under medication, so I'm in a fortunate position in that regard that I can take my medication every day and kind of carry on my life quite contently.
Well, it's brilliant using your position to sort of shine a light on it as well, because as I say, I think it's, a condition that not many people understand and that doesn't make the headlines very often. But look, let's talk football for a moment, Matt. This is must have been a tricky week for you boys, not knowing 100% certainly who you're going to be playing in that final.
Yeah, obviously it's been strange, but I just got to crack on with it. Really, we've had a weekend off, so that was nice. Spend some time with the families. I actually live up in Middlesbrough, so trying to get away from it all, and then I'm thrust myself straight back into it. Taking my lad to football and got all the parents asking me questions, seeing if I know any inside information. But no, we've been cracking on, training again today. We're focused here on playing Southampton, so that's our week.
And Matt, you come with a late run there at the end of the season, and sometimes that normally that team that just gets in the playoffs at the right time, in the right form, sometimes gets promoted. I mean, you must fancy your chances. The chaos, by the way, is for Middlesbrough and Southampton. There's no chaos for you. I think you just got the game in front of you. It doesn't matter who you play.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, all season we've kind of been quietly confident about our chances. We've done really well. We've had a great season. We fell off a little bit towards the end of the season. Some disappointing results, but we managed to sneak in on that final day. And like you say, it kind of maybe got a few of the lads' confidence back. And we had the games against Millwall and thought we performed pretty well. Showed what we could do and booked our spot at Wembley. It's going to be a great game, whoever it's against. Such a privileged position to be in. And it's one to be relished and enjoyed. I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, the achievement of getting there, honestly, Matt, is incredible when you think you've been under a transfer embargo. It's not allowed to sign anyone. And some people, people who know nothing, thought you might be relegated at the start of the season. That was me.
What were you saying?
That was me.
Yeah,
I thought you were more likely to go down. And honestly, I mean, thankfully, you've made me look a complete idiot, even more so than usual. Tell us about the manager, though, because again, Sergei Yakurovich, unknown quantity to most people, outside of Hull.
Yeah, the gaffer's been great. Obviously, none of us lads really knew anything about him when he came in or his staff. Obviously, we knew about Dino, well respected within the English game, but the rest of his staff we didn't really know. But I think he made it quite aware quite quickly to the lads of what he wanted, how he goes about things. We had a good trip in pre-season to Turkey, and from there, really, we kind of knew what he wanted and what it was about. And I think with the group of lads that we've got, it works really well.
Actually, I want you to win because Hull's got a special place in my heart. My dad played for Hull City.
Did he?
Yeah, when he was 15.
Wow.
He signed for Hull City and then went to Liverpool after that. So I've always kept an eye on Hull's results and the legend, obviously, Billy Whitehurst. You remember Billy? I played.
I remember Billy Whitehurst. Nobody wanted to play against Billy. He was ferocious.
And the legend Windass.
Yeah, obviously Dino.
Anyway, good luck. I hope you do well. I mean, that's a great result against Millwall, by the way, and well done to Millwall.
Yeah,
they haven't got a budget either, and they've got in the semis.
But for Hull, it's exceptional, Matt. So look, whoever you're playing, and I'm assuming it's going to be Southampton. We should know hopefully today. The best of luck to you, and again, thanks for shining the light on epilepsy in National Epilepsy Week. I think it's a great cause. Well done, mate, and best of luck.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Good luck.
Cheers, buddy. Thank you.
The Hull City midfielder Matt Crooks with
amazing playing with that.
I know.
So everybody out there that's got epilepsy, it just shows you can play.
Yeah,
could be playing in the Premier League next year with that.
Yeah.
So there's light at the end of the tunnel for everyone.
Yeah, of course there is, and he's had a good career as well.
Yeah.
He's 32 now, played a lot of games. But yeah, some Muppets decided that we're going to finish in the bottom three.
Did he predict that?
Yeah, well, of course they've had it was going to be a 3-window transfer embargo, which was reduced to 2 windows. But that meant that throughout this season they couldn't sign anybody. But Ollie McBurnie's been brilliant for them as well. 17 championship goals as well. Be interested to see if he gets in the Scotland squad, which is named at noon today.
Ex-Swansea player.
That was all thanks to McDonald's. We will catch up with Gabby Agbonlahor next. One of Pep Guardiola's best mates in football, Neil Warnock, will be joining us in the final part of the breakfast show.
Yeah, fellas, on talkSPORT with McDonald's. Got big McDonald's hunger? Order delivery on the McDonald's app today. From 11 a.m, 18 plus, fees apply to delivery orders, subject to availability, price may vary.
Successive defeats for West Ham. Spurs 1-2, drew 1 in their last 3. Spurs need just a point from the final 2 games to secure survival. So, Martin, would it be fairly unforgivable for Spurs not to survive from here?
Oh, yeah. Look, they're in the boss seat now. De Zerbe's come in.
and put together some really good results, Jim. Look, I said way back, we were both sat here at one thing that we may disagree now, someone likes to disagree with me, but one thing we did agree on was that West Ham, their fixtures looked much more difficult, and if Spurs could wake up, we all knew, didn't we? I mean, at one stage, it was just because it's Spurs, but this new manager's come in and made a change. So I see Spurs now as being pretty comfortable. West Ham have shot themselves in the foot yesterday because of their performance.
Yeah. I mean, I've been pretty consistent that West Ham would get relegated, primarily because there was always this powerhouse in the back of your mind that you can't countenance Spurs being relegated. So I imagine Spurs' avoiding relegation will be as certain as Arsenal winning the league now in Martin's mind. Because we're able to make those observations. But the fact of the matter is that West Ham, and Martin's right, I was under the impression that he'd had a lot less games. I don't know how many league games he has, but he's been in charge of Nuno Espirito Santo. He's been in charge of West Ham for 36 games. And despite the fact, I looked at their statistics yesterday before the game. In the last 15 games, they've taken 22 points. They're taking a point and a half a game. If they'd had that all season, they'd be miles away from this situation. But prior to that, I think he took some time to get into his stride.
Too long.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, I don't know how many games they had before he took in. I'll have a look in a second. But they were in chaos when he came there. They were in a mess when they came there. So could he have got them out quicker? Possibly. But you look at that side yesterday, and it's not really, of the two teams between Tottenham and West Ham, the team that's been in better form, had more resilience and more about them, has been West Ham. Even when they got beat 3-0 by Brentford, there are two clear penalties that have subsequently been revealed as being penalties that should have been given to them. They hit the post twice, the crossbar twice. So they were in that game. Yeah. But that was the West Ham that we saw yesterday that's been at the beginning of the season that's got them in this mess because they were poor across the board.
Amen Corner, perhaps the most feared run of holes in golf. Each year it claims the tournament hopes of many, with balls hitting bunkers and water traps aplenty. But why is it so fearsome, and where did it get its name? Just the thoughts of holes 11, 12 and 13 at Augusta National gives the likes of Rory McIlroy and Jordan Spieth the shivers. McIlroy hit 3 over and Spieth hit 4 over in their final rounds to blow their hopes of a green jacket in 2011 and 2016 respectively. But did you know Amen Corner's name is inspired by a jazz song from 1933? American sports writer Herbert Warren Wint, on the left here, wrote about it in 1958, referencing the song shouted in that Amen Corner when describing the run. Hole 11 is a par 4 over 520 yards with a green guarded by a pond and bunkers to the front edge. 12, perhaps golf's most famous hole, is a par 3 over just 155 yards. The green's guarded by Rays Creek at the front, more bunkers and azalea bushes ready to punish the smallest error. Then there's the 13th that teases the hook shot over the trees. It's a dogleg par 5 over 545 yards that's inviting for big hitters who want to reach the green in 2. If you want to win the Masters, you have to keep your score down around Amen Corner. So who'll be the next to fall victim to golf's most famous and most daunting challenge?
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Dean Saunders and Arnold Clark. The perfect time to upgrade your car, get 2 years free servicing When you buy a used car in the upgrade event, check it out online. We're going to talk Villa in a moment, but while we're on Birmingham, I got a text, and it's from an unnamed texter, and it's got cut off halfway through, but I found it. And it's a local lad called James Lewis, this is local to the Midlands, is doing an amazing challenge for charity. He is dribbling a football from Africa to Rugeley. He's trying to raise £100,000 for St. Giles's Hospice. Now, he flew out to Marrakesh in Morocco on May the 1st. He's on his way now. The goal is to arrive back on July the 19th and see England win the 2026 World Cup final. He's encountered difficult temperatures and a lot of stray dogs. When you're dribbling a football, that could be
He's got to be careful there,
problem.
Jeff. He's got to be careful going into Rugeley.
Yeah. So his name is James Lewis, and he's looking to raise £100,000. He's only raised £8,164 so far. So he's on Just Giving anyway. James Lewis,
well
26. Done. James Lewis, 26. Dribbling a football from Africa to Rugeley. Astonishing. Give it a look. See if you can support.
He should be good by the time he gets back then.
Now, tomorrow night, Aston Villa bid to win their first trophy in 30 years. Of course, it is live on talkSPORT. Let's cross back to Istanbul now, where Gabby Agbonlahor is on the line. Good morning to you, Gabby.
Morning, Gabby, up the Villa.
Morning, chaps, up the Villa, Dino.
Now, look, we're being told you have been having the old head shave, have you? Is that where you got the cap on?
Yeah, maybe it went wrong. No. I went to the local Turkish barbers, Jeff, and he gave me everything, mate. He was scrubbing my face, he was scrubbing my hair, there was a face mask, he was getting the shaver, he was getting the blade. I was pampered really, really well, mate.
Did I see smoke and flames coming out your ears or something?
Yeah, so basically, for everyone listening, a lot of people were commenting on the Instagram story. Basically, he put these two things in my ears. Then he was setting them on fire. I'm thinking, what's going on here? I'm not like this before. But then afterwards, he took it out, and it gets the earwax out of inside your ears. After your cotton buds can't get deep into your ears. And there was loads of earwax. And he was like, look, you have to get it done more often.
Oh.
I says, we don't get the service in England, mate.
That's a gamble, that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be going. I tell you what, though, Gabby, you don't need to go to Istanbul for a Turkish barber, mate. I mean, they're everywhere. They're absolutely everywhere.
I know, mate. I come from Faro Airport, Jeff, so didn't get my hair cut over in Portugal. It's hard, guys. You know what it's like, do you know? So much hair, you need haircuts once a week, mate.
Well, I never used to go out if we lost in Turkey, when Galatasaray. If we won, I'd go out and get the groceries and everything. They'd been giving them to me for free. Get a free haircut. When we lost, stay in the house. Shut the front door. What do you reckon tonight, Gabby, tomorrow? What do you reckon?
I just look at this team, the way they played against Nottingham Forest, that second leg. They looked in the zone, every single player, the manager. And then to go from that, the performance against Liverpool, same. Everyone knew their jobs, everyone playing at 100%. I think tomorrow they will win. Listen, we know finals aren't always comfortable, but the weather conditions are going to be perfect. Things are 18 degrees at kick-off. And I just feel like, yes, Kamara's out injured, but hopefully Onana's back. The way John McGinn's playing, the way Watkins is playing, the whole team are playing at a top level at the moment. I think we'll have enough to beat Freiburg.
I mean, obviously, clearly, you've got a manager who knows how to win the trophy. So is any danger of overconfidence, though, Gabby? Because in the Bundesliga on Saturday, Freiburg scored 4 against Leipzig, or third in their table, so they're no mugs.
Yeah, 100%. But I looked at that, Jeff, and Leipzig couldn't go up or down a position, I think. I think they were guaranteed third place, so maybe they took their foot off the gas in that game. And Freiburg had to win, I think, to be guaranteed European football. But this manager, he won't do complacency. He would have left the Nottingham Forest game, guys. He didn't walk around the stadium and start cheering and celebrating. He would have went into his office and started to look at Freiburg. What was their game like? So he won't be over confidence for this game. Neither will the players. They know this is a great chance to make history.
Gabby, and you're a Villa fan yourself, and is it heaving over there with Villa fans? Claret and blue everywhere.
Dino, everywhere you look, mate. We've got some behind us now, some Villa fans. Everywhere you look, mate, I think the UK, I've seen people flying from Glasgow, Manchester, every London airport, all sold out. And everyone's in a joyful mood. There was the Irish bar last night, loads of Villa fans enjoying a party experience. And there's so many that haven't got tickets. But, you know, it's been too long for this football club. 1982, the last time they won a European trophy. So fans are coming over, enjoying it. And it's a lovely city. The weather's lovely. Love the culture here. The people are very nice as well. So a lot of Villa fans up for a nice little holiday as well.
Obviously, the news over here, Gabby, is all about Pep Guardiola leaving Man City at the end of the season.
Yes.
You must be relieved that it seems like they've appointed Enzo Maresca, because otherwise, you know, you might have been a bit concerned that Unai Emery might have been on their radar.
Yeah, I think he's top 5 managers in the world. So there's talk about Real Madrid, wasn't there? Every big club is going to be looking at our manager because he's fantastic what he does. And I'm just baffled, guys. I don't know about you, how he didn't make, you know, the nominations for manager of the season. Villa spent the least amount of money last summer. All the promoted teams spent more than Aston Villa. And to get this team Champions League football again after the start they had and to a cup final baffles me and baffles a lot of neutral fans as well.
And what I like about him, he never makes excuses about playing midweek. And then, you know, in Europe, he never makes that excuse.
No.
It's like he's so experienced in that tournament and getting his team ready for the weekend. I know results do dip a bit after the midweek game, but he just drives the team forward. He knows what he's doing. And you've got to listen to him, haven't you, in the dressing room tomorrow. When he does his team talk, every player in there's got to be listening.
Dino, when I spoke to John McGinn about him, he says that all the players, since the day he come in, just listen to what he says. When a manager's been there and done it, you know, 4 Europa League wins for him, you listen to everything that he says. The players are in meetings non-stop. They're watching games back non-stop. I mean, I don't know about you, Dino. I used to hate the meetings. I used to hate doing shape. But these players, they see it works. They see they're getting results. They see they're fighting for Champions League. So because of that, they're all on side. They all listen. And I'm sure that'll be the case tomorrow night as well. I'm feeling very, very confident that we get the result.
How are you going to celebrate if you win then, Gabby?
Hair transplant.
I'm trying not to think about it, to be honest, Jeff, because, yeah, maybe I'll get my teeth done, my nose done, hair transplant a lot, maybe, on Thursday morning, guys.
You get all that done on Thursday morning. Brilliant. I absolutely love it. Hey, look, Gabby.
I'm coming back in bandages.
Gabby, enjoy it. I know you are at the moment, so hope it goes well for you, mate.
Yeah, up the Villa,
Thank you, guys. Love it. Thank you.
Gabby Abonaho from a very sunny Istanbul. Well, they go in as red-hot favourites. Of course they do. Freiburg, by the way, you know, I was singing their praises a bit with that. Gabby was right. You know, the Leipzig game was a bit of a non-event as far as Leipzig are concerned, but they finished 7th in the Bundesliga, okay? But they finished with a negative goal difference, 42 points behind Bayern Munich, 26 points behind Dortmund. So they are effectively a mid-table Bundesliga side. You'd have to feel that Villa at their best should be good enough.
If I was going to try and sort of say what team they were like, I would say probably top of the Championship.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
Yeah. If you speak to people who know Harry Kane,
yeah,
from what I can gather, he can't believe how easy it is to score goals.
Yeah. Well, he's scored plenty of them, hasn't he? He should know. Look, set your alarms because talkSPORT Breakfast is coming to you live from Istanbul for not one but two brilliant shows this week. Must be flying me out there pretty soon, I can imagine. Super Ali McCoy and Gabby Abonaho will be in position in Turkey to bring you all the build-up and reaction to that Europa League final. Of course, you can listen to it tomorrow night. Coverage from 7. Kick-off at 8. talkSPORT Breakfast then, live from Istanbul on Wednesday and Thursday mornings. Don't miss it. Coming up, Neil Warnock joins us for his reaction to yesterday's big news about the departure of Pep Guardiola. Enzo Maresca set to replace him on a 3-year deal.
I love it, mate.
we had this conversation in the studio, and your bags of energy, and whilst you might be a little bit drained now, you'll replenish your tank, and there's plenty left in you. Do you think you merit the opportunity? Do you think Celtic should be offering you this job? I know it's a difficult question for you to answer.
No.
But come on,
Right.
you've gone in there, you've fixed their problems, and you've steadied the ship, and you've won the league for them in a season where it's been a disaster for them.
Do I think that Celtic should offer me?
Do you think you merit it?
Do I feel I've merited? Of course I have.
Did you? I know, but I'm trying to move you. I'm trying to move you from the diplomatic fence-sitting position that you want to take. Did you chase Hearts down, Martin, or did they lose their nerve and blink?
No, I don't think they lost their nerve and blinked at all. Absolutely not. What they've done over there has been fantastic. What the manager has done has been terrific, absolutely terrific. And last night he was voted Manager of the Year, quite rightly so. It was a really great effort. What we have here, I think, sometimes, Simon, in your disparagement of the league, is that we actually have some really, really fine managers, young managers who are very, very good. I'm working with some brilliant coaches who are just terrific, and I do learn an awful lot from it. Now, I understand the reason of this disparagement is because there's really no money.
Which, by the way, you joined in as well before you went back there.
No, joined in what way?
In terms of making observations about the quality of the teams in the league and the quality of Rangers. So pack your nonsense in.
No, absolutely. I'm saying this, but what has happened? Sometimes when you're working at the coalface, as you often do, make real great judgments from about 14 million miles away, and
I had you next to me to be able to support those judgments before you went back to Celtic. So pack it in. So don't you dare be a hypocrite.
And then I stepped into the coalface and realized that both of us were talking bunkum.
Oh, of course.
Not wig.
It's a nutty canister, either way. I mean, look at the nut.
Bob Odenkirk! Saul was great. He was just a breath of fresh air. Amelia Clark!
Star Wars versus Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, definitely.
I'm
loyal.
Don't tell Alex Hassel!
In season 2, a lot of us get our clothes off.
You do know you did that in season 1.
Exactly, that's true, yes.
Yeah, good morning. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Dean Saunders. Very nearly 10 minutes away from 10 o'clock. Just before we have more reaction to Stuart Pearce, Pep Guardiola leaving Man City. We had Stuart Pearce on a few minutes ago. Got a tweet from Jonesy who says, Stuart Pearce is still my hero, even at 55. His never say die, hard but fair, 100% discipline and respect attitude is everything that's good about football. So much so, listen to this, my 22-year-old son is called Pearce Jones.
It's not. Yeah, I agree with all that apart from the fair bit. Because he would have a reducer, he would call it. A reducer. Slows you down.
Everything's relative. Just 5 red
Then
cards.
with the days.
Yeah, Roy Keane, I think, got 13 in his career. So I think Vinnie Jones 12. Dennis Wise 11 red cards.
Remember Vinnie Jones's tackle from the kickoff? at Main Road.
Yeah, I mean, look, Vinny was Vinny was one of the few people that, again, Stuart regarded with caution, shall we say. Right, we've been reacting to the news all morning that after 10 years and 20 trophies, Pep's going to leave Man City after Sunday's final game of the season at home to Aston Villa. Let's bring in this legendary football manager and Pep's best mate.
You know me and Pep, don't you? I love Pep, mate.
I had a fabulous hour with him.
I just love, when I go over there, we do have a laugh. Because he's the best manager in my lifetime for me.
I have had some nice messages about Torquay from him, and
I mean, he is the best there is at what he does.
I love him, mate.
What he's done in English football, even with the top players, you've still got to have a system and a way, and they've been the best team I've ever seen in my career.
Yeah.
Since Pep's been there. I mean, he is a wonderful manager. Yeah, I love Pep, mate.
Yeah, of course it is the one and only Neil Warnock. Morning, Neil.
Morning, Neil.
Morning, lads. Morning, Dino. Morning,
Neil,
Jeff.
you're a bigger legend in my eyes than Pep Guardiola. I'm serious. I mean it. Just because you were an expert of finding a group of players a way to win.
I know.
He's got his styles of football, which is good.
He has, but you know, Dean, you've mentioned it earlier on in your programme, and nobody's really cottoned on to that. These players are all multi-millionaires. And what he does to motivate those players, when you watch him on the training ground, I was gobsmacked my first time I saw him training. The intensity that he does in training with these players, and they do everything, and that's why he's successful. I mean, I bet Arsenal and Liverpool and all these teams, Man United, I bet they can't believe the luck if he does leave. I haven't heard officially that he's going to leave yet, but I said to him last time I saw him, if they get two players in the summer now, they'll win everything next year. Arsenal, they've got to win the league this year. They'll never win it again if he stays. And they signed two players, because 10 points behind it when he signed all the players in January, you know. And he's changed the whole philosophy and everything. And I bet Maresca cannot believe his luck.
Oh, well, maybe, but, you know, I mean, obviously, manager of Manchester City, that's fantastic. But isn't Pep an impossible act to follow, Neil?
Well, I think Vincent Kompany hit the nail on the head when they asked him about it. You don't want to follow Pep. You want to follow somebody else that's followed Pep. I don't think you want to follow Pep. I mean, that is. Maresca, I don't think he'd get the job otherwise, because he does know the situation. But you know, the management side of it. Listen, you can't go wrong with the squad he's got, but he's not Pep Guardiola. So it'll be interesting, because he knows he's losing, you know, like people like Bernard Silva next year. Do you know what I mean? They're losing a couple of good players. But he already put into pace. I could see him dealing with Phil Foden now, and I'm thinking he'll do well next year, Phil Foden. You wait and see now. He's got, you know, people like Lewis and O'Reilly and Doku. I mean, Doku, when I watch him train, it's the same in training every day of the week. And the players he signed, Semenyo, Gaia, Donnarumma and Turkey and that, they're all top players. So it's all right saying you've got money, but to blend them into a team and be successful, he head and shoulders above anybody else for me.
Neil, you know, when you watch training, you stood and watched training, has it changed your outlook on football, or do you just think you can only do that with those top players, what he's doing?
Well, when I thought watching it, Dean, the first time I saw him, I watched it the day before they had a game. So I'm watching this game, and the training, it went on for 2.5 hours, and I'm thinking, after 30 minutes, my lads would be saying to coach, does the gaffer know we've got a game tomorrow or what? You know, does he know we're playing tomorrow? Because it was so intense. And it went on for 2.5 hours. I was absolutely gobsmacked, mate. But, yeah, they won the game the next day, and it was a good lesson for me. And I do enjoy it. I know what you mean about, I mean, I've never had that opportunity to manage players of that quality that he's got. But they're very humble, you know, Dean. You've got Haaland running over to me for a selfie, not the other way around. You know, they're really a humble set of guys, and he's made them like that. And I think if you can get the top players being like that, you've got a hell of a chance, and it is a really good dressing room.
Yeah, I'm interested. You say head and shoulders above everybody else. So if we I mean, mention some of the greats, you know, Sir Alex Ferguson, Bill Shankly and Bob Paisley, Brian Clough, Carlo Ancelotti, Neil Warnock. Is he above all of them?
I think so. I mean, this is only my personal opinion. I just think what he does, what he's brought to the game. I mean, no disrespect, you know, I've been watching Torquay the last 12 months, 18 months, and Torquay try and play like Man City. He's brought things in. I mean, you know, we haven't got the players that Man City have got, but even the smaller clubs are trying to play the way his philosophy and everything that he's bringing to the top. But I just think that he's gone about it his own way, Jeff, and everybody's got on board in all the leagues in the country, and it's just been such a breath of fresh air to me. Mm-hmm. And yeah, do you know, Dean, when I was there, he asked me to go for a coffee after, and we had a chat after, and we talked about, because I said something to the players before. He asked me about whether I said something to the players, and I said, well, yeah, all right then. So they'd come over, and I went, well, think yourself lucky, you know, I'm not your manager. You'd be kicking the ball from there to there, pointed, and chasing it all over and tackling and heading, you know, and we had a laugh. But after the game, when we were having a coffee, he just said to me, Neil, I understand why you won what you won, he said, because we have all the telephones, we have all the computers, we have all the data, we have all this, we have all that, we have staff doing this, staff doing that, but we don't have humour. And I thought that were interesting, Dean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They have everything else, don't they? Everything's there for them now.
It's
but
been
you still need that
sanitised, Neil.
humour, don't you?
Mm.
Hey?
They've sanitised football, so
Yeah,
that players
you
are not
still
allowed
need-
personalities anymore.
I tell you what, Neil, you know, you talk about humour, there's no point in talking to Dean.
I always made sure I come on when he's on.
Yeah, brilliant.
Just to give me a bit of stick.
Hey, Neil.
Calls me a rat normally.
Yeah. Neil, thanks very much indeed.
Yeah, but even calling you a rat was a compliment. Dean,
I know.
wasn't it?
I know how you meant it.
I used to say that you used to chase around like a little rat.
Oh, right. Okay, so it was a compliment.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Oh, thanks, Neil.
Neil, thanks very much
for coming
indeed.
on.
Cheers, lads.
Cheers.
Dino, thanks. Brilliant morning, mate. Lots to talk about, wasn't there? To say the least. So, and it's going to be a brilliant evening as well with two massive games.
Well, we've got not just the evening, we've got 10 days now. And then after that excitement, we walk into the World Cup.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that.
World Cup's still in the back of my mind at the moment, but it's not in the back, of course, Scottish football fans' minds because Steve Clarke names his squad today, about midday. First World Cup since 1998. Will Craig Gordon be in goal? I think he will. 43 years of age. What an incredible story that would be. Will Ollie McBurney get in up front? Will Ross Stewart get a call up? There's so many
Steve Clarke, he's going to go down in history.
Yeah.
What a job he's done.
Oh, he's done an absolutely brilliant job. Dino, thank you very much.
Thanks, Jeff.
Indeed, talkSPORT will bring you that 26 as soon as it drops, of course. Don't forget, it's Ali and Gabby in Istanbul tomorrow and on Thursday. And then on Friday, England's turn. Adrian Durham is your breakfast host that morning from 6. Up next, it's Adeola Depot and Simon Jordan. Bye-bye now.